Welcome, ladies and gentlemen and reptoids, to the Kiln. I'm Aram17Z, joined by the usual suspects, the Calibri Body and Gigawatt,
Yo!
who I'm not sure has realised the title of the stream.
Yeah, I know, I saw Alex, you said, in the chat, it said Alex lives, now live. Or now live. I thought that was really neat.
Well, you missed last time. We were all at fault, let's just say that. We were kind of all at fault.
Yeah, I fucked up.
It's fine. We also didn't pursue anything further. Today we did, and it was hilarious.
Guess he's not here.
Guess he's not here.
Well,
we
in
waited
my defense, I've learned from my mistake.
Oh, really? I didn't notice. I'm going to respond to this tweet with Orochi Hee Maru.
What? What's that? Orochi Maru?
Yeah, he sent it in,
Maru.
he sent it in, in Alex Screams about Dragon Ball.
Which is probably an inappropriate name now, because now it's just a regular Dragon Ball chat.
Honestly, I avoid that chat, partially once you guys started talking about, like, some really weird shit.
Goku cock ring!
Yeah, that's about where I left off.
We mostly just send art and memes now.
It's mostly Dragon Ball, but then there's some instances of other stuff, like Naruto.
Yeah, we got a little Naruto in there because we all seen Naruto.
We have? Have I seen Naruto?
I'm fairly certain.
You know, it's a bad example when I have all of the manga on my shelf.
Yeah, would be, yeah. What is happening outside?
It's pretty sunny. It's very hot today. It doesn't really feel that hot.
It's not a garbage truck. What are you doing? I opened my window once, and then in the fucking truck's outside. It's a court. There's a truck outside going.
Yes.
See, that's the way.
It's gone now.
You know, some random things come to me because I was scrolling through what was it? Funimation now, because like Anime Lab is dead. Rest in peace. Anime Lab is already like so much better. Like because I'm scrolling through the app on the television, right? And the app on the television pisses me off because like if I'm trying to search shit, it's a lot harder. And if I click in a genre, right, it will only show me the top 10 things of what is recent and nothing else.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly annoying. So the only way to go through all the anime they have is to go into just series and then just sort by whatever, alphabetical order, what's popular. But it defaults to what's new. And I don't really give a shit about what's new. But that is so stupid. Why do I have to scroll through all that crap just to find random shit? Why can't I just go through the genres? Anyway, I was scrolling through that, right? And I'm like, I've seen so many of these anime, and I'm like, I don't really remember most of these. And then I see one that I remember, and it's like, it's so weird for me. I find it easier, of course, to remember things from a lot larger series and bigger series that are more prominent in my life. But then there's just this one thing that I've only watched once, and I remember so much about it. And it's just the randomest shit ever. And like the series that always comes up for me when I do that is always Maria the Virgin Witch.
What?
Yes, that's an anime.
Yeah, Maria.
The Virgin
Witch show.
I watched it once. I watched it once in 2016. That's how long ago I watched it. But I still remember it.
12 episodes. The Virgin Witch, Maria seeks to end war and help her, and with the help of her familiars, a seductive succubus and incubus duo.
There's also Joseph in it.
Alright, let's watch the first episode.
What? It's just something so random that in like a 12 episode anime, but I remember it more than I do ID Invaded, which I've rewatched.
Lol.
Well, there you go.
Like I remember small things.
Yeah, I finished the manga for Invaded like literally last night. The sequel manga because I like, you know how like I know you probably remember, but episode 3 of It Invaded is my favorite by far because it was the only one not
Is that the
connected to
one
main
that?
plot.
Yeah, is that the one where they were outside and they got kidnapped or some shit happened?
No, it was the sniper in the waterfall.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah.
And I'm being vague. I like that one because it was just a detective story. There was just a random culprit, random victims, random everything. And then we had to, we with the audience figured it out. I like the manga as well because it's a sequel also separate from the main plot. And I thought it was very interesting. You know, I own it now. That's neat. Alright, Maria the Virgin Witch, Perfect Version, Episode 1, Season 1.
What? I just haven't been in the mood to watch anime. I don't know what it is.
That's fair enough.
I watched a lot more.
How about you, Caleb? Have you been in the mood to watch anime recently?
Doesn't he have like one episode left of that shit of Tatami Galaxy or something?
No, I've watched 2 episodes.
Oh,
One episode left.
I thought he had one episode left.
No, far from it.
What?
I've been very lazy. No, you know what? No, I haven't been lazy. I've been lazy, but I've also forgotten anime exists. To be honest.
Yeah, he's been watching Simpsons. Busy man.
Exactly. Simpsons is great. Simpsons is amazing. But yeah, I've just been, yeah.
It's always that weird thing where it's like it is definitely harder. I feel to get into something that's new, despite like going back and rewatching something that you know is great, or even that you kind of know is good, but you forget how great it is. Which happens to Naruto so much. I feel. I always forget how great Naruto is.
Yeah.
And then I rewatch part of it, I'm like, oh shit, this is amazing.
What episode number is it, Caleb?
I'll tell you what, I don't even know the specific episode. I think it's 2 episodes. I think I'm 2 episodes in, but I honestly...
No, what episode of Naruto is the best Naruto episode?
Oh, Naruto...
What number was it? Because I know every time I go into Naruto Shippuden on Anime Lab, there'd always be that one episode that you watched. And then I'd rewatch it myself, because it's...
3... Okay. This is probably wrong, but I think it has a 5 in it.
It's so very unspecific.
Somewhere in it... Hang on, I think... Okay. I think I've got an idea, but I'm not going to say it in case I am unbelievably wrong.
I can tell you my favorite episode.
What is your favorite Naruto episode?
Like, I know my favorite
261.
261.
Of Shippuden, of course.
Wait, what? Is Shippuden not on Funimation?
It should be under Naruto.
They have both.
261. That's not 261.
I think the episode does not have a 5 in it. I think I found it. Is it 322?
Maybe it was a 3 that it has in it.
Episode 322's little title is Madara Uchiha.
Okay, then that's it. Yeah.
The next one is the 5 Kages Assemble, so I think that's the one.
I always forget the number.
Now, if you're wondering what 261 is, it's the title is For My Friend. The next episode is War Begins. So it's Gaara's speech.
What is 300? I'll tell you why I got it confused. For some reason, I always get the numbers 5 and 3 mixed up. In memory.
What?
In memory. So if I'm given a number and I try and recall that number, if it's a 5, I might think it's a 3. If it's a 3, I might think it's a 5. For some fucking reason.
I'm the same with 6 and 8.
There you go.
Yep, 322. Madara Uchiha.
8 I will generally... 8 I can tell. I can remember well. But it's just... For some reason, 3 and 5. I don't know.
Do you have a number you mix up, Ethan?
Not really.
God.
Just thinking about no, not really.
A lot of
Let's
the time
do
when I
a
watch that
minor roast
episode,
review.
or when I watch that part, I just look it up online, on YouTube.
There is a whole 20-minute clip on YouTube, yeah.
It exists. Fine, we said our favourite episode.
But
What's your
basically-
favourite episode, Alex, huh? Wait, I think I can find it.
If you fucking pull up what I think you're gonna pull up, I swear to God. What would be my favorite episode of Naruto?
It's clearly 420.
Is that because it's a meme number, or is there something? Oh, hang on.
The 8 inner gates formation.
Let's go! I'm like that sounds like a meme number, and then I think, hang on a fucking second, that's a bit in the middle of the. Look at him go!
That was like the last great episode, and then everything slightly went downhill slowly.
You know that. Still had some great moments.
Yeah, of course.
Alright, let's have a look. See.
Honestly, don't sweat on just like the beginning of Naruto. The beginning of Naruto arcs are kind of best.
True.
They really are.
They do begin quite well.
Mm. They're strong.
Mm.
The fuck. I mean, the second arc of the whole series is a tournament arc.
Yeah, it was.
And then breaking the tournament to have a villain. And not even have our main character fight the main villain, which I also liked. It was very
That's also
different, very refreshing. He was more
Wow.
fighting the bigger threat towards himself and the enemy that he knew compared to the enemy he didn't. And he never really fought Orochimaru. He fought Orochimaru once, I think. Back when he went monster mode on the battle of the bridge, or whatever, the one with Yamato, when Yamato and Sai come into it. That was the only time he versed Orochimaru.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, now Ichigo did fight Byakuya, but could
Yeah.
you really say he fought Aizen to begin with?
No. I mean, he tried. He got
swung.
stopped by one finger.
He swung. Didn't do anything.
Mm. I mean,
I respect
Naruto
that.
never really fought Madara on his own as well.
No.
On his own, he
And
never
when he
fought
tried to,
Madara.
it still didn't work. He literally had to say, "Yeah, Kage, you do it. I can't." Do this." And then the Kage couldn't fucking do it.
Kage got put out of commission.
Fucking Tsunade got.
Now it's show time for the
price.
one blue beast. Sorry, I'm rewatching it.
Night Guy stole the show from Rock Lee. Let's be honest.
What a
Rock Lee in the pre-time skip of Naruto. He was so peak,
And then
and then Mike Guy just stole everything from him.
it's
I
like,
think-
don't worry, Lee, it's time for the power of youth.
I think potentially the reason why that might have happened is
Kakashi.
because,
I feel like Kakashi's
Yes.
partially
and
the reason.
more so because in Naruto, the adults were seen as the teachers. They were all seen as the instructors. So the focus was more on the students.
Yeah.
But then when Shippuden came along, all of a sudden the students and the masters became more of equals. So all of a sudden, I feel like narratively speaking, characters like Kakashi and Might Guy were treated more like characters like Naruto, Sasuke, and all the other characters. And I think that's why perhaps Might Guy had more focus. Because all of a sudden he wasn't just the teacher, he was also a character just like everyone else.
It obviously is also partially because Kakashi became more of a character, and he's like the only person who really goes up to him and talks to him is Might Guy as well. Their friendship kind of also helped make him a more prominent role, especially in the war. Like, I love the scene where they just join Killer Bee and Naruto in that fight, and it's just the four of them fighting. Toby. Madara. Who knows his name?
Oh no, well, it's no one.
No. Who knows his name? But still, there was even just like small little arcs in the first, like, cause what Zabuza's arc is a decently sized arc. It's just over like 3 volumes long, which is alright.
Yes.
But it also doesn't fully cover that. It also covers like the beginning, early bits of Naruto, meeting the other students, meeting Kakashi, going through those little trials.
Well, I suppose that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always associate Zabuza's arc with them leaving,
Yeah.
and then that. But yeah,
But
beforehand,
Zabuza's arc really is the opening act of Naruto trying to figure out the path he's going to take to become the Hokage. And then he just keeps building on that afterwards. Especially with like most of the rest of it being about Orochimaru.
That was a brilliant starting arc. Like a lot of arcs, they have to be able to set things up. You know, not just plot wise, but also character wise, and theme wise. And I think that arc actually did really well.
It also is that Zabuza Momochi is also very memorable. Despite not actually having a lot of panels with him in it, he's somehow still very memorable. Not just because he's like the first villain, but he also played the role well, and the way he ended off kind of shaped Naruto to a point as well. And then the great Naruto Bridge was made. Ooh.
Naruto Bridge.
I just thought about it, like eating ramen. That's the name of it. The little things and like that. It's just... Why they choose him?
I mean, they chose him because
It's time for the Red Beast to emerge.
I mean, wasn't Sanji meant to be named Naruto?
Yeah.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, yeah. From what we've heard, yeah.
Honestly, I will say Sanji works a lot better now because of other events, but either way. Sanji. Ichigo. Ate a turtle. Yes?
Do you really think it's that time? Yes, of course it's the time. You're fighting fucking Madara. Else is it not the time to do this?
When he's fighting off a bad case of diarrhea.
Like Laxator and Mierda.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting because then you look at Bleach's arc, and while I think it was a good arc, I think Zabuza's arc served better as a first arc.
Yeah.
Simply because I feel like it better set the stage for Naruto as a whole. Meanwhile, with Bleach's one, there was a big difference between that arc and then the Soul Society.
Yeah.
It felt like all of a sudden you're not on Earth anymore. You're
No, it became an Isekai. That's right.
world.
Everything's an Isekai.
Fuck yeah, it was an Isekai. They were good. They were still good arcs in Bleach. Just I think Zabuza's one served better as
It was also built on the world, and he was the first rogue shinobi we ever met. Yeah.
And then even Dragon Balls, that set the stage, especially for early Dragon Ball. That sort of adventure, that going finding the Dragon Balls, and it remained very similar throughout.
Well, it also partially set up other things, like just the existence of Roshi. It left it a little bit open for there to be more than just what it was.
That was interesting watching the first arc of Dragon Ball, and Master Roshi just shows up, and he's just some old fucking cook.
He's riding a turtle,
and he's there like, oh, and then he fucking leaves. And I'm like, isn't he supposed to be Master Roshi?
Yes.
What? That fucking amazed me.
It was always funny when you were watching Dragon Ball and then you message us saying, "I didn't know that was a Namekian."
That one was the best one. That one was the best one.
I don't know what the fucking Namekian was.
Like, it's something that we know he had heard before, because we'd said it multiple times.
Yeah.
He had no
That
fucking
doesn't mean I
clue.
knew what it was.
For all he knew, it was a food item.
In Dragon Ball, it might as fucking well be.
No, didn't you say, like, you thought it was a tree of some sort? Well, you were half right.
I don't remember what I thought it was.
It's probably because we keep calling them
Yeah.
trees.
Because they
probably
reproduce
thought it was
like
a tree.
trees.
Isn't far off.
Neckins are great.
They are great.
This entire might die backstory. I don't give a fuck. That's not what I'm here to see.
Might die. He was set up to die
really
from
did.
birth.
It's interesting because I sort of wish, I sort of wish they had done something more with Namekians, especially. I mean, even with humans as well, given that humans have been there for quite some time. But even Namekians, like, do a bit more.
I feel like they've partially set up there to be more to do with Namekians, simply because, of course, all the Dragon Balls and them are heavily connected.
Yeah.
Like, sorry for spoilers, but I don't really give a shit, because no one, if you don't read the manga, go fuck yourself. We met a new Namekian who lives on a planet, like, by himself with one of the surviving inhabitants of the island, and all he could muster up was, like, 2 Dragon Balls. So his dragon is kind of shit. I think Alex and I are both bigger than the dragon itself.
Really?
I think so. Granola's not that big.
No way.
And then it also has an interesting part where, in order to compensate for that, it takes something of the user, seemingly life force.
Yeah.
It needs to.
But that was more dependent on the
it
wish.
just can't make something. It can't make something out of nothing. It needs to. It has limits, so it needs to.
But I see that as because it's weak, it can't just make you the most powerful unless you give it some power to let it do that.
It reminded me of a meme I saw recently where someone like asked a genie, "I want to fly." And it's like, do you want a flying suit? Do you want wings? Do you want to like just mentally fly? And he's like, wings. All right. Do you want bat wings, dragon wings, bird wings? Bird wings. It's like hummingbird, eagle, hummingbird. All right. Would you like to lower your bone density? Would you like to shrink? Would you like to? How do we get you in the air? I found that very interesting.
It would be very interesting, like when you wish for something, and it's like up to the creature to do what it wants. Give me $1 million.
All right.
Would you like it in your
Whose
bank
money?
account or cash?
It gives you $1 million in Japan. In the end.
Oh. In what currency? In what form? From where?
That is a very good question. Where would the money even come from? Because like, isn't like money registered like with the serial number? So if you wish for money, where the fuck does the money appear?
Like,
Where?
You get the money, but is it
Does it
tracked?
Does it just get
So can
taken?
you use it, or if you went to the bank, they would not use it, and they'll see it as counterfeit, and then they would arrest you.
What if they just like for every Shenron, just like for every dropped coin, for every note that got lost under a couch, you scrounged it all together until it was exactly the amount it needed. So that's what Naruto's dragon will probably do. It's like money. All right, where?
All right, time to scrounge the fucking earth for money. Oh, here we go. Yep. All right, there we go. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it all has to fall out of the sky. Don't forget that. That's where the panties
but
came
then
from.
he
That's
gets
where.
He gets it and then he drops it. In the sky, up from the sky.
Yeah.
What if it's fragile? Do you think he just gives it a parachute?
No. I don't think
Very
he gives
funny.
a parachute. I think it's just like, I think it defies gravity and just slowly drops compared to how it would usually drop.
A parachute would be funny.
Because didn't one of like the peel off gang wish for a cake and they got the cake?
I thought they wished. wasn't
Some
it
sort of food.
ice cream, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, ice cream.
It was
never
for like
mind,
the best
cream's fine.
ice cream ever, and then I had it. That would have been mad. That would have been sick as having the best ice cream ever. That would have been awesome. I can only imagine how it would taste.
Back
But
when.
then, okay, what if you wished for the best food ever, but then you didn't like that food?
But like it was objectively, it's like a universally agreed. Like, yeah, we like this fucking cake, and you're like, I don't like cake. And then someone next to you will be like, I love cake.
Look, I really don't like cake. Fuck cake.
It might actually be like, I mean, what if it like the food changed its taste depending on who ate it? So if I ate it, it would taste really good to me, but then if you ate it,
This sounds like some Willy Wonka shit. like the bubble gum, like the kind of bubble gum thing that like Violet was chewing on. Like it was a full meal.
Why doesn't Veruca Salt just use the Dragon Balls to find the golden ticket? Like what the fuck? I mean, your dad's got all that money. Make a Dragon Raider, like lol.
This is an interesting Dragon Ball AU.
But I mean, that'd be actually interesting. If you had the Dragon Balls, what would you actually wish for?
Oh fuck. A brain check. I don't know.
It'd be interesting because I mean, and then it also depends. Like, is it 1 wish or 3 wishes?
I think that would be more, that I would just go by like the usual 3 wishes, but if you're doing like a 1 wish, you gotta make that 1 wish fucking like something bigger.
I gotta ask for an extremely sizable source of income.
Yeah,
I wish.
I was gonna say something similar to that.
Like I wish for the Super Dragon Balls.
I wish for land development. I wish for land. Can I own this land?
First wish: $100,000 in my bank account every month for the rest of my life.
After that's all set up, I would probably go on a different tangent and actually wish for like a full on like artist studio or designer studio for myself.
Well, you could just get that with money.
Yeah, I know, but if it's done there for me, I don't have to go out and buy shit and look at shit.
My dream studio, please. I don't like these pencils actually.
I wish for a very good pencil. There you go.
I have pencil rubbers.
I wish for all our schedules to align when I want them to when we do D&D.
Alex, I just thought of a funny magic item.
Oh, we got
an eraser that rubs out any word.
Done.
No matter where it's on. If it's engraved, the word's gone.
I thought of my final wish, boys.
If it's a tattoo, it removes the tattoo.
Any drawn or written item.
And if you rub it across someone's mouth, they can't speak.
I'm not going with that.
Okay. Very funny though.
Also classic.
If you put it up to like a microphone, they're mute.
I thought of my 3rd wish, boys. For no reason at all, every time we stream, people join randomly.
Come in and just hear us talking about fucking Naruto spoilers or the new Super Chapter.
I wish for the new Super Chapter to come out. Hey. When is that?
I wish to heal Oda of all his ailments.
I wish to survive long enough to finish One Piece.
I wish to revive Kento Miura.
That's fair.
He's got to finish what he started.
I wish for the next wish to go to Tagashi, so hopefully he can do something.
Oh, I was just gonna wish for hiatus to come back.
No, I'll let him handle it. 10 days is next Dragon Ball.
And Boruto?
You want to know when the next Boruto chapter comes out?
They came out at the same time.
Oh. Then yeah, that too.
There weren't any chapters this week besides Dan.
Yeah.
And whatever comes out randomly. Sad. Someone's going by Oda's schedule, it feels like.
Boruto, jeez. I wish they just made a series about his dad, you know?
Wait.
I think it should be so much better.
He has a father?
Wait. He has
Hang
a
on.
son?
His father has a son?
His father has a son?
What? The
Holy
fuck
shit.
you talking about? I'm lost in this conversation. That's all I know. Wibble, woggle, woggle.
What'd you call me?
That's right, go shoot yourself.
Oh,
That's right,
I need to give you an magic to be able to talk.
What?
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 I need to get a magic item for you guys to put on Alex so that he can talk the whole time. Because that's only Caleb can with a spell.
And it uses the spell slot, so it's like,
Yeah,
fuck.
so you're not going to want to do that very often.
Unless I cast it, it can be ritual, but... I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too hard to, like, at every long rest or whatever, just doing a ritual. It only takes 10 minutes.
You're a ritualist.
Yes.
I have a question. I have good. When it comes,
I just thought the dumbest magic item.
you are a dumb magic item. When it comes to like series or when you go into something, what is like the most important thing for you to really make it something that you love?
Oh, fuck me, that's a good question.
For me, it was always like world building / history. If something feels like it has history or a great sense of world building, I think I'll enjoy it a lot more than something that doesn't. Doesn't mean I won't enjoy things that don't, because obviously,
Yeah.
if it's set in our own world, there's history there. One of my favorite series is Monster,
I mean, world
which
building can
relies
still
on
exist.
real world events.
World building can still exist in
Yeah,
series set in our world, but it's not nearly as important as one set in fucking Narnia.
yeah. It's why isekais, they don't really get to me all that much. There is that kind of sense of like world there, but I just don't give a shit.
Some of them just refuse to world
Yeah.
build because it's just basic.
No
But
Game
this
No
is what
Life's
it's supposed to
world is very good though, because it's all built around this one system that they use to kind of, this is how they govern shit, by playing games. I propose to the queen in chess. I win, bitch.
So that is interesting as well, because, like, I mean, a lot of not even just isekai, I mean, other games in general use, like, stereotypical fantasy shit to
They
build
really do.
worlds and all that. And, you know, sometimes it can work, but then sometimes it's a bit...
A lot of them just like are kind of just that normal adventure comedy kind of thing, / ecchi if they add that in. And it doesn't always work.
I know
'Cause find it
Slime
forgettable.
goes through a lot of effort to build its world and all these kingdoms and how much they affect each other and shit. And it's the main story has the main character with his own kingdom and how that kingdom, how its existence affects the rest of the world and how they respond to it. It's a big part of season 2. So I really like that. That one still has a basic fantasy world with your elves and your magicians and shit and your fucking monsters.
Yeah.
The basic shit, but it actually does put an effort into world building.
Even other
Whereas
things.
I love ReZero, but it doesn't do that nearly as much.
Even other
I have
things.
no idea what the fuck ReZero
Even
is.
other things that have like similar things, where it has elves, beasts, monsters, magic items. I mean, Black Clover has all of those fucking things, and Black Clover feels like nothing like any of them, because it feels like it's more of a world that is lived in. It's governed properly. There are other countries, other factors that
It's
come into
governed,
play.
not properly.
I mean, the Heart Kingdom's kind of governed properly. All
Yeah,
the other
they're
ones,
self-governing.
yeah. I mean, that queen though.
I'm trying to think of, like, what makes a series sort of call out to me, and what it does
I'm
make
gonna
it
have to go
stand
with
out.
characters. Probably either character or theme, because world building's great, and I love continuity. But if you don't actually, but if that takes away from actually fleshing out and having interesting and characters you can understand in your story, or not even ones you can't understand, but like ones that make sense.
Yeah.
I like how characters. There is one that makes plans like this is how things should go, and then every other character has their own agenda, and therefore it can never possibly go that way because they will always react to it in their own way. I think that's why I liked Arcane so much, because there would be this thing that's like, this is what's going to happen, and then every other character with their own agenda would always do something else without even knowing that this other thing exists. I like how that story had several independent moving characters that could all intertwine and do any number of things. So I think that's why I liked Arcane as much as I did. Meanwhile, I think I liked the Marisa Disney movie Encanto a lot because of the theme of family in that film. The theme of that film is a lot about how making your family proud, family burdens, and etc. I think it did that wonderfully, and because it was able to capture its themes that it tried to convey wonderfully, I think that's why I like that film so much. Plus the soundtrack. So the character or themes for me. Better if it's both.
Yeah.
I think it might also be how the story handles things. Because I mean, look at Dr. Stone, and why I'm liking it so much is less because of the world it's sort of creating and all that, but it's more of how it handles things and how it takes elements and spins it in an interesting way. I think probably in general it's the story, right? It's the ability for everything in that world to be done in a way that seems in some way familiar, but also not, in the sense that, you know, when they have technology and when it's seen as almost magical, but then it's not. It's just what we have here, but to these people it's not. And the way it's able to do that, and those themes, and the way it's able to take the theme of technology and primitiveness and show how that affects different people and how different people look at them. It was very interesting, you know, before they didn't accept Senku, and how different people looked at the science, and how each one began to accept it as their own needs began to be met by it.
Yeah.
And how I find that very interesting, and I think that's what sort of drew me towards that series.
I think for me, like, definitely, like, the first thing always would have to be world building, but that's more because of who I am initially. Because, like, even when, like, we were in, like, those early stages of high school, I actually did consider becoming, like, a historian, because I love history. But then I'm like, there's no jobs in history, so let's fuck that. Also, there's no real options to do any other history besides Australian history in further years, so fuck that as well. So it kind of pushed me away from doing history topics. But even then, like, the second most important thing for me is, like, character themes and whatnot. That kind of rolled up into one. Because there are definitely series, like, my number two favorite series of all anime doesn't even really have a strong world building itself. It's a lot more akin to a typical sports kind of anime, where it's more about the competition, the drive to move forward, and it's more character driven than anything else, which of course is Food Wars. Of course it's not a sports anime, but it acts like it's a sports anime, if you understand, because there's competitions, there's fights, where they yeah, it does act a lot like, and other sports anime, Kuroko no Basket, Haikyuu, Hajime no Ippo, they all kind of like fall in that kind of in character driven over everything else. and the
Yeah,
themes just
this
play a
is
part as once we learn more about the characters, the circumstances of each character. Someone might get injured, and it's like, oh, they're fucked.
Yeah, I liked when a story like in Haikyuu, if like every character represents a theme, they need to be here for a reason. Why are they in the story? What purpose do they serve? What is the creator trying to tell us with this character being here at this moment doing this thing? Like Tadashi Yamaguchi's like feeling of worthlessness, so he keeps trying to master this one thing that he can do that no one else can do.
Yeah.
His float serves. Or Tsukushima, who thinks that this is all bullshit, and he's just here because his brother's kind of doing it. And you see him learn to have fun and to love the sport, and etc. Or I want to talk about Ryunosuke, who's the everyman. He was good at volleyball, but he was not great at something like everyone else was. He was just there to fill, and then eventually, and then the other team would notice that he was not special. He was just good, and they targeted him, and he needed to persevere through not bullying, but like targeting from the other team. Like where if you see a kid who's bad at sports on dodgeball, you're gonna hit them first. That's what they were doing.
No, man. In basketball, the whole plot of it is a guy who's just not very good at all, but he's leveled up his passing skills so much, and no one fucking even registers that he exists. So it's kind of like the ball just kind of appears in his teammates' hands.
Right?
That's essentially broken the basket.
Yeah. I suppose when I said I like characters like themes, that was a separate thing, but you've just mentioned that, yeah, it could also be the same fucking the themes that each character can represent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good shit.
And with something like Food Wars, it adds like a different other level, because food is such a giant topic just to begin with that you could have just a character focused on this one style of seafood alone.
My spicy boy.
Oh yeah, your spicy boy. Or my absolute Chad lad, man, who is like just a dragon slaying monster. Or even just have the bloody Italians, the brothers, with their unique cooking styles and whatnot. And that's another thing, there's so many different ways to cook. Why are they cooking that way? How are they doing that? What drives them? What motivates them? Blah, 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 blah. Why are they doing this? And it adds all that kind of level into the story. My arm. And then there's just like weird ones, I feel. I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen and Bleach kind of fall into this weird kind, and even Yu Yu Hakusho a little bit. In the way that they don't really feel similar to a sports anime or something that has a deep-rooted world-building kind of thing. It more uses the shonen tropes that it holds and kind of creates something different. If that makes sense. Because obviously, you have something like Hunter x Hunter, that one has a world. That is a world we've partially explored. I don't think it's good at explaining where the fuck we are in the world. That's one thing. Besides, like, the Dark Continent stuff. That was different. They actually kind of explain that a little bit more than any other place. There's Upside Down Australia, that's all I know. What's Upside Down Australia? That's where I want to go.
That's an interesting world it's created. Just all random bullshit, go. That's what
he really just looked at our Earth and went, let's make things different.
I can do better.
This is in the north? No. This is in the south now. You want to be right side up? You're upside down. You are not attached to this country? You're attached. And also upside down. That's how he does it.
You got a world map and it's like, hey, you two should kiss. You can go over there.
The real question, what was Great Island?
What was Great Island?
Just an island, just a random island. I don't think it was inspired off of anything, just a normal island. It's a big island though.
Isn't the Hunter x Hunter world just way bigger than it should be?
Yes, I think so.
Because that
That's why it's like harder to explore. It hasn't been fully explored yet and whatnot. And obviously, partially because of other governments.
because they go up that tree and they see all fucking water, but it's incredibly tall and there is land behind that.
Mm.
Like a lot of it.
Naruto's map always felt weird to me because it only felt like it's a small portion of a map.
I don't even remember that map.
The map is like weird as hell. Oh,
I know, like
Interesting.
sand is over on the bottom left, I think.
even
No, wait, if that's rotated. I don't fucking know. See, that's right. Naruto, my guy, kick his ass.
even with cartoons, it also plays in the back because like my favorite cartoon is Avatar, and one of the things it has above other cartoons is that great sense of world building and history. Even just from the fucking get go, it has that crap. Just with the dress wear, the Aang and Katara going to a ship that is seamlessly there that we don't really know about. There's more history there. There's more levels to it. The kind of shit, blah blah blah. We even see later on in the series in book 3 how it got there. There's more levels to that. That's why I was invested into Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar never. It didn't get my attention. Not until admittedly not until Toph showed up. So the entirety of book 1 was fine, in my opinion.
Book 1 was really just like set up, whatever. Book 1 was just set up for everything else. Book 2 was tragedy. Book 3 was reconciliation, kind of. I'm just staring at this fucking Hunter x Hunter map. It's so fucking weird. New Zealand is on so far away from Australia. That doesn't feel right.
Good, they should be that far.
Oh wait, no, that's Japan. Sorry, I got Japan.
What?
I got Japan and well, Japan's not even near where it's supposed to be. I got Japan and New Zealand mixed up. Oops.
I don't know how you get them mixed up, but
Because I'm looking at a small map, and they're kind of like shaped, and this map is also very confusing.
Yeah, no.
What? There's just a random like dot up in the northernmost part of the map. There's just a dot there. What's it doing there? There's just a dot.
Great Island.
Nah, I'm pretty sure Great Island's just an island off a coast of some shit.
I don't think Green Island's close to any coast.
I mean, closer than that fucking island is to anything else. Yeah, that map is weird as fuck.
The 8 negates formation, a technique that allows one to draw out their.
They die.
It's the final stage of the jutsu Lee used against you. Why are you buffering? Stop buffering. Against you, he was Kakashi talking to Gaara.
Gaara's a good boy.
He is.
He's a good boy. He did nothing wrong in his entire life.
Not
I
one
mean-
thing.
What did he do that was so wrong, huh? Huh?
I mean,
What did he do? He did nothing wrong.
he carries around sand. I think that's pretty shifty.
Releasing all eight linkers results in power 10 or tens of times greater than that of the 5 Kage. Tens of times greater. Really? Well, it's gotta be.
I mean, he damaged Madara.
Yeah,
so
like
yes.
5 Kage couldn't, and then he did alone. So yeah, would be.
Madara would have.
Just hearing that.
If no, didn't Madara even admit that if he was in his normal state, he'd probably be dead.
Oh, I honestly don't remember. I'm watching now to find
he
out.
said something
Akin to
along
that.
the lines of that could have killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
let's find
didn't
out.
because his mother.
Could you imagine if that's how the series end? Madara got killed by Might Guy. I would be fine with that, honestly. It's more because I know how it ends that I'm more fine with that. One of the things I never understood, like I always heard like people say that the war arc was bad, but that wasn't the case. That was never the case.
I think it's the ending.
It's only the ending of the war. The war itself is actually pretty.
No,
good.
the war is amazing
The
all
war.
the way up until that moment.
Yeah, especially if you're
Like,
either reading the manga or just cutting through all the filler.
I can genuinely say that it's my favorite arc in Naruto up until that point.
I can't say
There are just
that.
so many things in that I just love too much.
I can't
with
say
any
that.
other-
Unfortunately, something else takes the cake for me. But second best,
What's up there for you?
Pain.
Fair enough.
Pain. That whole arc is. Oh. Considering I've rewatched it the most out of all of Naruto.
What are we thinking?
I feel like the worst part of Naruto is kind of just that mid little section when Shippuden kind of begins and continues on up until around the time when Sasuke is fighting his brother. It starts to picks up again.
Mm.
Of course, don't get me wrong. There was also good moments, like especially with Shikamaru becoming a bigger character. But it didn't draw, I feel like, enough attention or investment in me as much as other arcs did.
The Pain arc was a fucking fantastic arc, though.
No, it's fantastic, absolutely.
Everyone died.
I don't like that that death in that arc just was obsolete.
But it also did
But
set
cool.
up Madara's return as well.
I think he sort of had to.
Mm.
Because if he'd done Rene Rebirth later on, it would have been... People would have just said, fuck, Ex Machina.
Yeah.
But now that he set it up then, it's like, okay, no.
Yeah, I don't hate it nearly as much as I do other cases of it, because of Naruto and how it brings back death, how it brings people back to life. Sorry, through reincarnation. Reanimation, not reincarnation. Fuck that. The reanimation jutsu and shit, I think is one of the most masterfully done in any medium ever.
But then I can appreciate in other series when a character is dead, they are dead.
I can appreciate when that's exactly what they do when they fake out or bring them back, unless it's Naruto or
Naruto did an
No, it's
amazing
Naruto.
job. I think One Piece has a very interesting way of doing it because it's very different. It's more using the corpse itself, but not bringing back the person itself, because they're implementing another person's shadow, part of the other person's essence, into them. That's why when we got Ryuma, that wasn't Ryuma. That was Ryuma with Brook being a fucking.
it was the
dumbass
use of a devil
powerful
fruit
samurai.
in Thriller
Yeah.
Bark. And that devil fruit is just that like one-time thing for that one villain.
Yeah.
So even then, it was just a thing in that arc.
Mm.
And then the other
And
case
potentially
recently,
beyond that.
reanimation.
'Cause obviously-
I like what they did with Brooke. I've said it before. I'll say it again. That one film where they can bring people back to life already brought him back to life in the past, so we theoretically can't do it in the future.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was such a weird fruit. Of course, like, there is the option where it's like, if he awakens the fruit, he could awaken life or someone's other life. But I don't like that. I just like the idea is awakening is just him turning into the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least that adds something a bit more to his power than just, okay, he had a devil fruit. He could not use the devil fruit at all while he wasn't at his first life. His second life, he can use it a bit more. Of course, he's a skeleton as well, so
Added bonus.
he's so light he can run on the water. Ow. I'm trying to think of, does anything else really bring you back to life? Well, Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball's
shit.
always great.
Dragon Ball's kind of just when they bring people back. It was more interesting
Their
back
death
when they
is
had
irrelevant then.
it was more interesting when they had death a part of just you can only bring someone back once. That limit gave it a lot more impact and power. Like when Goku's first death came, it's like, oh shit, this man can die.
Yeah.
And if he dies again, we can't bring him back. Shame!
And then, of course, they changed it.
Yeah. What, Goku's died 4 times now or some shit? I think he's died 4 times.
I don't even remember.
Of course, there's other series where there's just something that just comes in that's so nonsensical about this shit that it's hard to take it seriously, but you still do. Just like Ass Class. When you're an outsider and don't know anything about Ass Class, I feel like looking at it is so weird. Because it's like, okay, this is a class. That's their teacher. I'm sorry, that's their what? That's their teacher. He's a bit of a sick lad. His name's Koro Sensei. That's their teacher. He's an octopus. Yeah, he's kind of an octopus, but that's not the problem. Why is he an octopus?
You know, why not?
Why not?
Oh.
Didn't you want an octopus teacher?
Oh, because he's gonna blow up the world or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then why is he teaching?
He wants to.
He wants to teach. He wants to teach.
He wants to do something meaningful with his life.
He wants to world and teach, and he's an octopus.
Yeah.
And they want to kill him.
Yeah, you got a problem with that?
Right. Some series, just summarizing it, just sounds so just dumb. They just sound.
They
dumb.
really do. And then you watch it, and it's like, oh, this is brilliant.
It's like trying to explain something like Keijo to someone. What is it? It's a sport. Oh, what do they? Do they use a ball? No, they knock each other out.
There's no balls at all. I can
So
go.
it's boxing, is it?
It's like boxing,
right,
but like on this thing
using
called the
fist.
land in the water, the pool.
Oh, the kickboxing?
No, they use their ass and tits.
Excuse me?
Well, you see, they have to knock each other off using their ass and tits. And then
okay. So I just thought I was having a stroke there.
And then
so you actually
are able to, for some reason, launch energy blasts with their ass. And some are able to steal other people's ass abilities. Some people are able to hypnotize. One girl, her nipple is sharp as a samurai sword.
It's what?
As sharp as a samurai sword. You heard me.
Yeah. Cut right
Explain
through.
this shit. Explaining fucking Keijo. By the way, just say this.
Someone's
I've seen
ass.
it, and it's still weird.
Someone's ass can light on fire.
Excuse me.
Someone's ass has a mythical beast in it.
What?
That just sounds really wrong. I'm not gonna lie. When you say mythical beast, I mean fair enough, yeah. But that just sounds that sounds fucking weird.
One girl uses her whiteness to shine light off her breasts to kind of be a flash bomb. One girl can hypnotize you with her tits. It sounds so fucking weird.
What else is just dumb? That if you just tried explaining it, it just would not make a lick of sense.
Alright. So in this world, magic is everything. But there's this one disabled kid who doesn't know how to use magic, or can't use magic. So he tries to become Wizard King, despite not having magic. I mean, that's not that bad. I'm just trying to think of random ones.
So how's he gonna become a Wizard King if he's not fucking magical?
He's a sword that's like no use.
He worked hard.
Oh, I guess if you work hard, you can become anything.
Wait, let's look at this. Alright. I just searched up like random, like these little things other people said about the shit and try and guess what it is. Kid with anger issues befriends a fox with worse anger issues and tries to save a friend with even worse anger issues. What series is this?
Is that Naruto?
I assume Naruto.
It's Naruto.
Badly explained series.
Kid with anger issues becomes a bigger kid with bigger anger issues. What is it?
Dragon Ball
No.
becomes bigger.
Alex, do you have a guess?
No.
It's Attack on Titan.
Oh, of course.
Kid who's supposed to have anger issues doesn't have anger issues and defends the earth from many people with anger issues.
What is this with anger issues?
I don't know. All these are anger issue ones. All these are let's see if I can find one. That one was Dragon Ball.
An elderly man abducts a young overweight Asian boy to replace his dead wife.
Excuse me?
This sounds very familiar. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's Up.
Oh.
A terrorist group tries to overthrow a government by bombing their headquarters.
Isn't that just 9/11?
No.
No, that one's Star Wars.
Fair enough. I guess so, yeah. That makes sense.
Noseless guy has unhealthy obsession with teenage boy.
Harry Potter.
That's Harry Potter.
I think I've heard that exact one before.
Spoiled brat gets left home on purpose, and parents do not have a child services come for a visit.
Deadbeat dad doesn't want to see his son, so his son goes out to find him.
So is what?
So his son goes out to find him.
Oh, Hunter.
Yeah.
A billionaire devotes his fortune to cosplay and beating up the mentally ill.
Uh-huh.
Man dies and then becomes a detective.
Oh, so...
I know what it is.
That's more Ethan.
No idea.
It's Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
Oh, right. 'Cause,
He
yeah.
dies.
He
The funnier thing in that was like he didn't even need to die. He didn't even need to. His body almost got fucking cooked alive as well.
Man destroys his own planet because he didn't want to share it with his sister, and after she broke his favorite toy.
Oh, Ragnarok?
Thor Ragnarok. I like that one. A teen boy's body changes, and he discovers he can shoot white sticky liquid out of his body.
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Is that really Spider-Man?
A man gets stabbed and then he kills ghosts.
Oh, Bleach, surely.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, somebody gets stabbed and then he just kills ghosts now.
A girl gets kidnapped by a pink-haired dumbass.
What?
Fairy tale.
Oh yeah.
Is that not what happens?
Yeah, pretty much.
Otherwise, if you want me to explain the plot, I don't know what to say, because there is no real plot. Because nothing's ever done about anything.
Guy on drugs wins the war by throwing a frisbee.
I'm sorry, what? Was that just Captain America?
That's just Captain America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's try and think of some other ones.
An illegitimate child tries to kill a serial killer. That was more for Alex.
No, I'm thinking.
Does he give up?
I do give up. I have no idea.
It's JoJo's Part 4.
Ah!
Is that not the plot? There were even multiple serial killers in it. This powerless kid gets hair shoved up his mouth and becomes a superhero.
My hero.
That's my hero.
Yeah, of course, but that plot is still very stupid. He gets hair shoved up his mouth. He eats an adult male's hair. That.
Yeah, that's a bit. Man gets bored.
That's just One Punch Man.
What? Okay.
I was right.
Man gets bored.
I knew exactly what he was talking about.
What's another one? Ooh, no, hang on, that's not. Hang on, I'll go here, and I'll go here. Woman with half a scissor.
Is
wonder.
that a Kamega kill?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Okay, here's a good one. A story about a man who was just unlucky.
Oh, surely Turtle.
Beast monster becomes man to have a refreshing marriage.
What?
Beast becomes man to have a refreshing marriage.
Refreshing marriage. Beauty and the Beast, surely.
Nah, it's Shrek 2.
Oh my.
So, yeah.
I didn't know how it ended.
Man who owns a swamp or man who owns a swamp.
Man who goes to kidnap a hostage for the government because they loaned his house for rent. No, for public. I don't know.
Housing, public housing.
They dumped their fucking trash
They
there.
made a public housing.
Yeah. But Shrek slaps.
Oh, what a mad lad. What an absolute fucking.
Well, I got another powerless one. Powerless kid destroys everything as he just goes all the way to the top of the bloody leaderboard despite having no power whatsoever. Also, cream puffs.
Very subtle.
See, I initially didn't know what you were talking about. Then you said cream puffs, and then that's one of the few things I remember you talking about whenever it comes to that. So even I know what you're talking about.
Cream puffs is literally just the description of the entire series. If you say cream puff, that's all I think about. Ooh, I should make cream puffs for my birthday.
How about this one? People got really, really hard.
This is just Keijo again.
Oh, Dr. Stone.
Yeah.
I knew it was Dr. Stone, but I just want to say Keijo. Keijo.
I'm there, like, actually thinking, like, fucking what?
As soon as you said that, I just immediately went to Dr. Stone. And I have nothing in my room to actually remind me of Dr. Stone existing.
I've all 10 volumes. I've got 10 volumes. And I didn't even look at it to think about it.
Some of them aren't as stupid as others. Like, some of them just feel like normal story ones. Like, if I was trying to think of a plot for Vinland Saga, it's just about revenge. Essentially.
Yeah, that one's rather standard. Yeah. Dorohedoro is not going to be something I could possibly even pretend to explain.
Oh my god, I want to try this one.
Oh, you want to try?
How do I explain this one?
This is a guy with a lizard head who loves gyoza and kills wizards to get his head back.
See, that's just a weird plot, but that would be like something I would be very interested in if that's what it said. Massive treasure hunt involving prisoners, bears, and tattoos. That's golden, Kamui.
Would never have noticed.
I put bears in thinking Alex might get it because of the one thing he always
says.
This is
that one double page that it's. I know I've seen that too many times. I've got that engraved in my memory. Right, I know that. I know nothing about it. It's gonna show up. I'm like, ah.
One of the first things that is eaten in the series is actually bear meat, as well. Then there's gods versus humans.
Steam Record of Ragnarok?
Yeah.
Man in black punches clown.
Big man.
He's just punching a clown. What did the clown ever do? I mean, that's my question. What did the clown ever do?
I honestly don't know what you're talking about. What? Man in black punches. Oh wait, Batman.
And do some with his Batman shit in this right here.
It doesn't register me, clown. When I think of clown, I think of Buggy.
Wow.
I got one Batman coming. That's all I got.
So Black Man punches clown is Batman, and then Stretchy Man who punches clown is One Piece.
And the child who punches clown is Hunter Hunter. Who else is there? Dad punches clown is Superwog.
Trying to think of a way to trivialize Simpsons with the Krusty the Clown, but I'm lost there.
Serial killer punches clown?
Yeah.
Such a ball.
Yeah.
That would narrow it down though.
See, as I'm watching it, it's interesting because I'm sort of making a favorite characters list in my head, and Maggie's number one.
What?
I don't know why. I just find the babies that know more than a baby should is just funny.
So, Maggie
Like
and Stewie Griffin.
But I find Maggie funnier because Maggie leans more on the baby side, which makes it funnier. That she just whips out a gun.
I mean, that plot point.
Or she gets a bottle and she just smashes it against the fucking the stairs and threatens the monkey. Like, no, baby, does that. It's funny. Get the baby.
Or
He's
even-
gonna stab the monkey.
Or even just the plot point where who shot Mr. Burns?
It was the baby.
It was which is honestly a legendary thing. Mackie.
Apparently, like, they ran a contest and all that, and no one figured it out. No one figured it out. Despite various clues being put in place.
Because no one would suspect the baby to do that.
I don't know, man. That teaches
But
me
now
an
they
important
do.
lesson.
Don't have
Don't trust
kids.
the baby. That too.
What?
She did almost kill Homer.
But we have children.
Well,
We do, but they're
I'm the deadbeat though in this
they're
story.
darlings.
they're beautiful little things.
I'm a deadbeat. That's all I want to say. I see them every once in a while. Maybe. If they're lucky.
Mine's not actually here. Mine's on my grandparents because I got it framed so that it didn't get lost.
You framed your child.
No, I see it as like dressing them up.
You framed your child. You hung them on a wall.
Honestly, I feel like Ekate
man.
would be a better frame job because of what's on it.
True.
Because it's just Danny DeVito's head.
For context, was it year 11?
You
Was it
10
year
and
12? I can't
11.
remember which year.
It was 11 and 12.
Oh, 11, 12, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't it have been?
Yeah.
Whatever, whichever. It's either 10, 11 or 11, 12. And everyone, there was this special day occasion. I can't remember what the occasion was.
Was year 11 Fedrigoti?
I don't know.
Which one
But
was
anyway.
Fedrigoti?
Because that was the first one.
In year
Yeah,
11,
11,
we were
anyway,
in
as you
science labs.
Yeah. Anyway, as you were killed.
And there were a bunch of activities, and we, being idiots, decided we're not going to do the fun stuff. We're going to do the kite making, which ended up being fun. But it was just we just chose kite making, and then we made a kite, and then the year after we made another kite called Etika, and then but the kite before was called Kite, and those are our two children.
Yep.
Yeah.
I birthed them, and I ran away. That's essentially what happened.
Yeah. We all put our energies forth in order to create it, and then this man just says, "Nah, fuck you. I'm not taking care of the child. I'm not even going to pay child support. Bye-bye."
See ya.
And there you go. That's the one.
Well, I learned from Geen, okay?
Yeah, there you go. I wouldn't say he's exactly a role model, but you know.
Hey, I have to voice him if we read Hunter x Hunter.
Didn't you have the voice gone as well?
Yeah. Doesn't matter, they don't have interaction.
Good point.
A woman who makes holes.
What?
What?
A woman who makes holes.
A woman who makes holes. I don't know.
In her
Oh.
brother's wallet?
No, portal. It's like hole.
Oh.
Oh, I guess.
Honestly,
Well, I was
the
thinking-
whole thing was funny. As soon as you said that, that was immediately Izaki-chan.
Games are quite hard stuff for that because they're generally very serious. That's or just so abstract that it's like, all I could do is to describe this is men with gun.
Man, gun.
The owlbear has wings?
What?
I didn't
Can't
look
fly,
at it.
yeah, but it does have wings. Yeah.
It's like wings. It was just on board. Saw the image. Like, hang on, those are fucking feathers.
Yeah. It cannot fly. What man thought? You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna put an owl head on a bear, and then that's who
And that's
thought
the
of that?
entire creature.
Who thought of that?
Well, if you
I
could
wanna-
mix two creatures together, what would you choose?
Okay, admittedly, it would be an owl and a bear, but that's not the point.
Part of me would want to do something a little bit more.
Praying mantis and a dragonfly. You got praying mantis, dragonfly wings, and it's unstoppable.
Gorilla shark.
Gorilla shark. What features?
Basically, the head of gorilla. The head of a shark.
How would the fur and the not fur blend?
Who cares? I made it.
I care. Draw it for me.
Nah, I'm good. I don't want to. My whole reasoning.
You don't want to draw?
My whole reasoning behind this was because Caleb gets freaked out by sharks on land, so I thought, mix it with a gorilla. Let's go.
The sharks are okay normally because they're in the water. That's all fine. They're over there. That doesn't affect me. But if they've got their legs half, fuck. We are fucked. The crocodiles are just as bad, but you know, crocodiles they live up there. They don't bother me.
Crocodiles.
Right, crocodiles are fucked. I mean, you just have to look
They're
at it like
dinosaurs.
that. They have remained almost the same the entire time. They're man sharks, but
I assume
they're
they've gone
special.
smaller, but yeah, essentially
They've
the same.
gotten smaller, but like their overall design is the same.
Yeah.
So something is obviously fucking working when it comes to them killing stuff. Something is working. They are broken. They are broken.
Probably because they can traverse multi-lands
Yeah.
to get fish and whatever roaming around in their territory.
They also don't have to eat a lot.
No.
They can remain very, very still. They're very fucking strong. And you got the jaguar in some fucking areas just fucking demolishing fucking crocodiles. Nature's fucked, man. I don't know these.
I don't know who invented it, but whoever that guy was, he was high as fuck.
Some people that come and say, "Oh my god, nature's so beautiful." Motherfucker.
Nature is fucking metal as
That is
fuck.
what you see. If you look at nature is one of the cruelest fucking things on the planet. Nature,
is.
bro. It's not. It's not beautiful. It is sometimes, but sometimes I don't know. The birds literally kick the chicks out. You can't fly. Oh, what the fuck? Like what? Nature.
Oh, but the flowers are so beautiful. But behind the flower, there's a fucking
Wasp.
lion mauling a tiger.
And
Or a
behind
wasp.
and within the bushes there is a snake that if it bites you it will literally disintegrate your insides.
That was always one thing that I always found interesting because, like part of the reason like a lot of people say, "Oh, don't go to Australia," is because of animals. I can guarantee you, if you're in a city, doesn't matter.
I have never once seen a wild snake.
I've seen a wild snake out in like a country, but usually they were dead, just on the road, got like
Aye.
run over or something.
Now I have no doubt that they've seen me, but but it's more that like I think people, you know, overstate it.
Mm.
And then the same people, other people live in America, and you've got fucking bears, and bears are fucking units as well. I mean, what the fuck? These ones, they're fast as fuck. They can climb really well, so it doesn't matter if you climb a tree. They're coming after you. right? They're big, they're strong. They'll fuck you. It is what it is. There's nothing gonna stop them. And they're like, yes, snakes.
You know, here in Australia, we have a plant that if it
Yes.
if you touch it, it gives you such excruciating pain. It makes you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have that and not bears.
We have that plant. What's that plant? I've never heard of that plant.
What's it called?
Oh no, the biggest threat in my opinion are bloody box jellyfish.
Don't swim, lol. Bro, I'm just never going in the fucking beach. In the water. No, no thanks.
I'll drag you into it.
What happens if you touch the gimpy implant? When you touch the tip of the silica hairs, when touch the tip of the silica hairs can break off. Hairs can become embedded in the skin, which could lead to long-term pain and sensitivity. There are many accounts of people suffering for months from a sting. Gimpy is just as capable of stinging when its leaves are dead.
Does anyone know where a bush is? I want to test this theory out for myself.
This is a story. I don't know how true this is. But a guy went to take a shit and he needed a leaf to wipe his ass. And of course he grabbed a gimpy and he shot himself because the pain was too much.
Oh.
Where did you get a gun from?
I mean, I assume this was back in the old days where...
Is that the plant?
Yeah, and the pain... It's not just excruciating, Ethan. It lasts months to years.
So you see the hairs. So the reason it's painful is those hairs are like glass fibers, and they'll get into your body, and each one has like this toxin in them. So when you touch it, it'll literally get inside your skin and inject that toxin.
Are the plants similar to it with like this kind of hairy shit? I feel like there's plants that are similar to it that don't do anything.
I guess so, yeah. But
because I would have definitely touched it.
The gimpy is well, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you only brush up against it, it's not too bad. From what I've heard, the best way to do it is to wax the area to get the barbs out.
Yeah.
But I do not want. I'm not going in the bush. I'm not walking through the bush.
Yeah, we're just gonna sit inside.
No, I'm taking you to the beach and to the woods, or to the bush. We'll have fun.
No, we don't.
We'll see a snake. It'll be nice. It'll be a brown snake.
I don't mind the snake. Most snakes in Australia, whilst Australia has some of the most venomous, deadly snakes on the planet, they're not deadly to. Well, they are deadly to us if they bite us, but they're not gonna bite us. Most of them.
No, if you leave them alone.
Yeah, so I don't mind seeing a snake. You're not putting me in the water. You have to fucking kill me to do that.
We'll take you to the water. We'll have fun.
I like playing Raft. I want to play Sea of Thieves. I love One Piece. I love Grand Blue. You're not putting me in the ocean.
We'll go to the ocean. We'll have fun. I've been in like one of those partial shark cages before when I was younger. They're more like not like the ones where you scuba in. More like when you're just on top of shit, on top of the water, and there's just sharks underneath you and whatnot.
What about that? There's this place in Darwin, I think, where they've got a it's like the shark stuff, but it's for a saltwater crocodile, and they just dunk you in, and there's this croc just swimming around you.
That'll be a little bit more intimidating. You know, it'll be even more intimidating if they did that with the hippo. If they did that with the hippo, you get dunked in, and there's just a hippo swimming around you.
That is, yeah.
Platypus. I feel like when people talk about like us having like so many dangerous animals, it's kind of like how other countries talk about America having guns.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because I assume guns aren't as big of a problem.
Most of them are still alive.
Yeah. Whereas the whole difference is animals are a bit more unpredictable, where guns are obviously controlled by man.
I don't trust man.
You're not gonna see a snake rocking up with an AK. Snake comes at you with a bazooka.
Have you seen that? I've probably sent it before, but that video where the guy, he's basically making a song about all our deadly fucking animals and shit. And
Well, at
then
least
this
we don't
line-
have guns.
Oh, yeah.
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 And we
I've
don't
seen
have
that.
bears.
I think you'd have sent it. Yeah.
We also don't have bears. Bears.
Brr.
Burr.
Alex learnt that Japan has bears.
Yeah.
I did also. I didn't know they had bears.
They have bears in Hokkaido. Which is,
I wonder.
I think,
I wonder if they'd be native or if
I think they were brought over, but they were brought over a very long time ago.
whoever did that, I don't think was very smart.
But it's like one kind of bear. I think it's just the standard brown bear. I think.
Standard brown bear. Yeah. Well,
Actually, I'm not sure about that.
that's not good. Brown bears then, or you know.
I might be wrong. I'm not sure. I thought it was a brown bear. Oh no, it's a black bear. Sorry. Oh, and brown bears. Okay, they have two. They have the Asian black bear and the brown bear.
I think black bears are not as bad, but
I
could be
think
wrong.
they're
They
a
could
little
be
bit
just as bad.
smaller.
They are smaller, yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, have you seen those cunts climbing trees? They just get up there. They're just up. They just don't care. They don't gravity. Yeah, no, fuck it. They're just up.
You know what? You know what I was struggling with before. I was just thinking about like gravity is a weird thing because like
Well,
usually you're in control of your body. You're thinking about things, so you have more control. So if you're just like holding your arm a little bit like up or like straight forward, and you just try and release it from your command of your mind, you really can't do it and just let it go for gravity. It feels weird. It feels like it's too forced. Like you're almost just letting your arm down instead of letting gravity take it down. Obviously, if you're in water, it's a little bit easier, but that's because the arm doesn't move it too much because you're floating. But when you're just like doing it, it feels like you're just putting it down instead of gravity doing it.
That's true. Gravity is very interesting, and it's also one of those things that you just don't realize is like happening.
No, you also don't
like,
realize that the Earth is moving very fast.
That's true. That's very true. It's like, oh yeah, hang on, we're moving this. Oh wait, no, okay. Not only are we moving on Earth, and like Earth is moving, but then Earth itself is also moving around the sun, and the sun and Earth are also moving in the galaxy, and the galaxy as a whole is probably moving itself as well. And everything is moving relative to each other, which is very interesting.
Space is funny.
It is very funny.
Do you want to go to space? No. Like if there was a safe option to leave the planet to go visit like a colony, would you go? Like on Mars, let's say.
Depends. I mean, I don't. I would. You know,
I would
like,
shit myself. I'm not going anywhere.
I genuinely would not mind. I would not mind going to space. I mean, it's something that like I mean, even if you know.
No, I'm
something
shitting
happened,
myself. I'm not going to space.
Oh well, you know, at the very least, I got to go to space, and it's something that so few humans have ever been able to do.
I do want to experience zero gravity, though. I think zero gravity would be interesting to experience.
I mean, especially like going to Mars or something, or even just the moon. Like
Fuck the
being
moon.
on another planet. Like what the fuck? Being on another
Celestial
body
body.
that isn't Earth. You know what I mean? That is. The idea of it would be just crazy. You know. Yeah, I would definitely do it.
Alex,
If there
would
was an
you?
option.
Sorry?
If there was a safe way to like just go to a colony in Mars, like travel, space travel, would you go?
Why bother? That's my question. What does it? What if it needs to be much more appealing over there and much more when worth the cost and worth the wait to go there than it would be to stay here? Because going to Mars, whilst sure,
A lot of land. You can make a lot of money
if
claiming
I get
land.
it, yeah. But I'm not going to go there early enough to do that. As if people going there won't capitalize on that shit. That's just there's no viable way for me to get ahead, even if I do go there.
Even if it was just like a holiday.
Fucking why would I go on holiday into Mars?
I don't know.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, cool, but you know, going to Mars would take several months at minimum.
Let's say that it takes like 2 days.
Sorry?
Let's say like you could, if it's only a 2-day trip.
If we're that far advanced, there's no land there to at all take.
Yeah, but
But then there could be job opportunities there. It's like saying
there we go.
It's like saying what's the point of going to another country? Well, there's lots of different reasons why you might want to go to another country.
But why would I want to go to another country when this country I'm in exists?
Because there might be opportunities there. There might be also culture. I mean, let's be honest. When they create a colony on Mars, there's going to be cultural differences. Because if you think about it, think about it like this: the speed of light for signals is going to be, I think, it takes 8 minutes for a signal to get from Mars to Earth. Yeah. So in the end of the day, you're not going to be able to send things instantaneously between the two systems. So there is going to be its own internet. There is going to have to be its own like network that people are on. There is going to be its own culture that is going to develop, which I think would be fucking fascinating. So sometimes people might want to go to another country because of the culture. Yeah. But they might say, "Oh well, I like the way this place does things. I'm going to go there."
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't really care to do that. I don't even care to go to Japan to see how their culture is. I'm just here and here. I'm here in Australia. I don't give a fuck. So if I'm not even going to leave my own country, why would I want to leave my own planet? There are holiday options here. So probably not. Not unless there was necessity involved. Or someone invited me. Yeah, you want to go to Mars for the weekend? Yeah, sure. I wouldn't go like, you know what, I want to go to Mars tonight. It's not... I wouldn't. But, you know, I'm not turning down a free invitation.
My reasoning is completely different. I'm not going in space. That shit is scary. Like, I'm just imagining I just imagine space travel was already as scary as fucking flying on a plane. That would scare the shit out of me. That's why I'm not going.
But it's a completely safe way.
I don't give a shit. It's scary.
So you know what? Because I'm in the even though it's scary, I would go just because of the unique experience. Like even if like I would go to Mars, and along like halfway through the ship would just explode for some reason. Oh well, I got to go to space. I would go as a bucket list thing. Like I at least want to go to space. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would definitely go. But you know.
Yeah, I've got no bucket list.
Mars Comic-Con, let's go.
Yeah, there's motivation. Hey, Christopher Sabat's gonna show up as a guest in a Mars Comic-Con. Let's go.
That's when we go to space, when there's Comic-Con.
Yes.
That's what you need. So hurry up. Let's go.
Mars, we're joking about this, but that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right?
But
if it's fully colonized, if we're all living there, well, yeah, we're not gonna. We're not
be dead.
But they will have, like as Caleb said, their own culture. There's gonna be a whole subculture of people on fucking Mars going like, Earth animation is just so much better. Like the stories are just more interesting. The comic books are actually in black and white, not color. Like there will
not
be
red like ours.
Yeah. They have black line instead, and the contrast is just really showing.
You know what? Something I learned. Green is a rare color in space.
Space.
In space, on like planets that actually have like some sort of organism, like moss or whatever, green is an incredibly rare color. Most of it's purple.
Since what planets exist with other organisms?
I don't know. There was like some dwarf planets or some crap. I think with just some. There's like evidence of like just moss or whatever that shit is. Just on the ground. And it's not green. It's purple. Some sort of living plant. This is based off.
They need to go explore that shit immediately.
Yeah, but it's also like further away than fucking anything else in our solar system. I think it's part of one or the other. Just random things I'm trying to remember about learning about space. Let's go visit dinosaurs. No. Why in your right mind would you want to go back in time and see dinosaurs? You would probably die of so many diseases. Just by
Well, like Caleb said, maybe for the experience.
But you're instantly just gonna die from disease.
Well, what if there was a safe way to time travel? Not time travel, like time spectate.
Oh, like a pariah sort of situation.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, look at them.
If it's just like there.
They're pink.
Obviously, interacting isn't always the smartest thing. It'll be very interesting. Like, oh, so that's what a Tyrannosaurus looks like. But then, how would you know it is a Tyrannosaurus? That's the real question.
Well, you'd have a tour guide.
The shape of the,
yeah, but a lot of dinosaurs kind of just look alike. Some of them have similar things. Like Brachio's kind of self-explanatory. Triceratops, self-explanatory. There are different types of Triceratops, of course, with different heads and whatnot, shields or whatever. I want to go back and see a Pachycephalosaurus. If you could spectate...
a Pachy?
Oh, Alex knows the reason.
Well, I'm wondering, why am I more interested in going back in time to see the dinosaurs than I would be to go to another country? Why is that something that interests me? Because I don't care to leave, but why would I want to go back in time?
Like, if you could spectate a part of history, what would you choose to spectate? Like, you just, like, this is just a normal thing, like, you're not interacting with anything, you're just kind of spectating.
So if there was, like, the time spectating with, like, with the dinosaur, like I said, with the dinosaurs, if you could do that anywhere.
Yeah. And you had a guy that will tell you everything and can speak whatever.
This is Adolf, he's going into his room with a shotgun.
No. Shh.
You know what? They covered it in that one Doctor Who episode, the one I watched. But that one soccer game in the war.
Oh.
I just want to know why. How did you manage that?
Just come
How did you
together
manage on Christmas Day to have a fucking soccer game with the enemy?
It's sort of, it's funny because that moment sort of pisses me off. Not only within Doctor Who, sorry, just that historically that moment.
Historically, this pisses me off.
Because
That's
I don't
what pisses you
understand.
off?
If you were able to stop then, why weren't you just able to stop full stop?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know what type of soccer game it was. It could be a lot more aggressive than what it actually was. Like, a huge motivator for the game to begin with would definitely be the fact that they wouldn't die. Less chance of death.
Not dying today, might as well fucking grab a ball. Who brought the ball?
But in the game themselves, they could just hurt each other so much in the game, so that later on, in the war, they can hurt them more. You know what I mean?
I want. That's what I want. That's one of the things I'd want to see if I could time spectate an event. I want to see what transpired, why they did it, and just what led them to do that.
Partially,
What else?
Partially, I'd want to go to Egypt, watching how they did shit. Because why not? How
Is,
did they build those pyramids? Those pesky Egyptians.
what's the? There's like a Babylon. No, it was a Babylon.
Babylon.
There was like some city, way back fucking wherever, that had like sewage 4,000 years before they were reinvented, and then that city just disappeared. I think that's what it was.
Babylon.
I'm retarded, so
I think it might be.
if it is Babylon, or that's not the right word, so I'm not even gonna bother saying it. But there are some old cities, some old structures that exist in the world that haven't been touched for thousands of years, that just miraculously disappeared, or seem to have miraculously. I want to know what they were. What was in these places that were lost to history?
That's true.
It says in this that it. I don't think.
And as a spectator, you read a history book. The interesting thing about history books, as I spoke about Record Ragnarok in the last stream I was in. History is written by the victors.
Yeah.
Right? Those history books are written by the people that won. In the fucking Second World War, yeah, we say that the Nazis were evil, but had they won, they would have been that justice, right? That's what would have been fact, right? They're evil to us. This is a more matter of perspective. If I were to time spectate, I would get a unbiased view of everything that's happening. I'd be able to actually see what's happening. Right? Not from someone's perspective, from my perspective. That is what is one of those interesting things about this concept. And then with the people that give access to the machine that you pay, like, to say, hey, what time would you do? What time would you like to go to? Would they restrict certain times, certain things, because
I feel
they say no, you actually can't go check out the fucking Pentagon in 1986 on the 17th of November at 6 p.m. or some shit. Like, that's just not. You're just not allowed to do that. Or is there something in history where they would not want, where they would just be beneficial for the public not to know about? Because
I'm sure
if its history is written by the victors, would we still want? Would the people who make this machine? Okay, no, the people who make the machine would want people to know. Would the people funding the machine prevent them from learning certain things? And of course they
potentially.
would.
Potentially they.
And I imagine they wouldn't let you see anything in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine going back in time
and
seeing your fucking great grandfather just there, fucking in front of a fireplace.
Oh, that would be sick though. The new way to track your ancestry.
And that'd be great.
That would be very
like, I want to go down this list.
That honestly, that would be very useful for someone like myself or even Alex partially, because when you get to a certain point, it's harder to track ancestors because my ancestors was slaves.
Imagine.
At the same time that the whole America stuff was happening, their slavery was happening. My people were slaves.
I find it funny because it's entirely possible that my ancestors were the slave owners.
There is no possibility that my ancestors were the slave owners.
Like the Romans, they had slaves.
Oh, your ancestors must hate this shit. They're looking down on you like, why are you Italian?
Could you imagine if I actually had an ancestor who was a slave to Caleb's ancestor?
Imagine.
Very funny.
It's wild to think. I mean, obviously, eventually you go far back enough. We do have like those ancestors, common ancestors that we'll have met.
Okay. Here's the crazy.
But yeah, when we go too far back, there's no point even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because of how evolution works, we at some point had the same mother.
Yeah.
We all had the exact same mother. You go far enough. Right, we are connected. I find that fucking crazy. And then even not just us, but you look at animals around us. At some point, we had the same mother as that particular animal.
Yep.
Which is just fucking wild. It's a crazy thing to think about.
Oh, that would be a good thing to see. That creature that evolved out of seeing them come out for the first time.
That would be a hot ticket item.
That would That's interesting too. When they make this machine, they're gonna have like, if they make this machine, they're gonna spend a lot of time going through everything. Like, hey, where would people want to go? Let's mark those events here. Like, sure, they'd give them some form of control, but like, there'd also be like bookmarks. Like, yeah, here's this, here's this.
I feel like if you get control over it and you get to more choose partially where you go, because I'm sure they would put restrictions on it. You might have to like pay a lot more than what you would to just like
an extra fee to like man it yourself.
Yeah,
but that means that they'd have to go through literally more than thousands of years of shit.
Yeah.
Just to find that one instance of that one creature coming out of the water.
Mm.
Just so someone could pay $7.50 to go there for 15 minutes.
Just some schmuck.
You know what this all reminds me of? Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah.
With the Animus, and that's what they even made like a company, where it was like they took those memories and they would sell them as like TV shows, but obviously that would have been in higher fidelity.
Getting your ancestors' memories as a DVD series? What the fuck?
Oh, a DVD series of my ancestors. Here is my great-grandfather in this DVD box set.
Here is him making shoes.
Here is the shoe of you.
Here is him making my something grandfather.
Here is my great-grandfather building a church.
Yeah, DVD box sets of your family. or even like historical documentaries now will actually have like that actual footage. But would they could even be redundant, like explain it to, but I say that, but we have access to information, but we still watch video essays anyway. So I say that, so the documentary would still be there. But they'd be summaries and they could be fact checks properly with actual viewing of it. But then conspiracy theorists like, what if they're not showing us everything? What if they censor some parts? There were no clocks in 1300 BC. How do we know they haven't cut around?
It's even more interesting how history can even just be misinterpreted by specific things, or just something that's fictional becomes what we believe to be real based on just word of mouth and people saying it to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people saying like the Jewish people built pyramids, which is completely false because the first recorded Jews in Egypt were 2,000 years after the last pyramid was built. So that's not just like a couple hundred years. That's a big gap for them to just say they built the pyramids, which even just puts more question on how the hell the pyramids were actually built in the first place, if it wasn't just for slaves.
But then there's also the religious sort of thing to it, in that.
For all we know, like even just demigods from mythology could have actually been real people.
Would be fucked.
Religion, because what religion tends to do sometimes is they sometimes like to make themselves feel like they're
special
underdog.
Yeah.
Right, like no one else believed them, but it's their faith that got them through and their devotion to their deity. I mean, even aside from Jewish religion, there's Christian religions that do it. You know, you look at Jehovah's Witness. I've heard stories of Jehovah's Witness. They always make themselves out to be, like, persecuted all the time, and as if the people working against them are going to come and lock them up or something like that. And it's that sort of thing where religions like to play themselves as the victim sometimes because it's an underdog story.
It's also partially a lot of people of religious practice are the ones who are writing books. Like at a certain point, monks were the only people who were actually able to write things down. So whatever they said or whatever they interpreted, they saw as the truth. So that's why the monks are seen as like underdogs during the Viking raids or whatever. Even though it could have been like an English king provoked the Scandinavian tribe. I don't know. What do Vikings rule under? Kingdom, tribe? What would you say for Viking?
I don't know actually.
They feel a little bit sad. I don't know.
No,
Kingdom?
that theoretical machine would fuck up religions.
Oh, it will definitely fuck up religion.
Like the guy that wrote the Bible, most believable bullshit I can write.
Oh,
Which
so
would be a shame.
it's like that episode of Tomska.
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
it goes back in time to write the Bible. That was a good one.
No, it sucks. Add this. Now there's dinosaurs. Write this. Put this in.
Yeah.
Are you sure people are gonna believe that this guy stepped on water? Yes.
You believe
Now, here's
this
the
man
crazy thing,
parted
right?
the Red Sea?
Here's the crazy thing. So I was thinking, like, when I was watching videos on like Chernobyl and all that, and when you hear things about radiation, all I can think of is like, how easy would it have been for like some advanced civilization to have come to Earth back in the day, use radiation weapons, and then people associate them with curses, because a lot of the stuff that radiation does could be a curse, or could be seen like as a curse.
Just disease in general can be seen as a curse.
Because it's always it's not always, but it's mostly invisible.
Yeah.
So you can't see it. It's generally associated with different areas, and then being near someone who is irradiated could also irradiate you, and it causes a multitude of problems. Like, pretty much every symptom that you could ever possibly get is caused by radiation, I'm pretty sure. So it's like, well, must be a fucking curse then.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just find fucking interesting. It's why I love it when you have things like advanced technology introduced to, like, you know, a more primitive or a more ancient sort of technologically advanced civilization, because I just find it interesting how they sort of interact with it and how they see that. And they're like, oh, this is magic. No, it's a flashlight. But okay, sure, it's magic.
Part of this machine that would, I feel like, be hard for people, especially if they're tracking like more recent people who might have died before they were born, is just like the hardship of not being able to like communicate with them. All they can do is watch them and see them. That might be hard for some people. Like, take me for example. In 2001, my great-grandfather died in April. I was also conceived in April, so he wouldn't have known I existed. So if I go back then, and like someone in my position would go back and see him, it's like, I existed. You might have one great-grandchild, but he's a shithead. I'm talking about my brother. That doesn't matter. I'm the cool one.
Well, it also helps solve crimes if you. If the police had like.
Let's go find Jack the Ripper, boys.
Well, I mean, like modern crimes.
Oh yeah, true.
Like to the public, you would not be allowed to go in the past.
Yeah, but maybe if you're a government person, like, I'm sure you'd get special access.
Well, if it's a case that needs it.
Yeah. But I'll say, but even then, something like Jack the Ripper.
Would
like,
be
definitely still Jack the Ripper.
Well, to be honest, Jack the Ripper was not like a big time, or like he wasn't as great as other serial killers were, or the thing. He was kind of just average.
It was the setting.
It was the setting, the
and
police.
there was just no evidence of it.
Yeah, and it just created more of a mythology behind Jack the Ripper that kind of blew up in, like, especially pop culture. Has a lot of different variations of who Jack the Ripper was, or even like in some series they like spin on it, like saying like this part, like this like disease turns someone into something like Jack the Ripper. Or if you come back to life, you come back with something else still attached with you, and that's what happened to Jack the Ripper, and that's what created the mythology behind that, or whatever. You know, just random things like that.
Even when you look at it, like, not to say that 5 deaths aren't aren't big. I mean, they are 5 deaths, but they were just 5 deaths.
Yeah.
Like, there are people who have killed way more people.
Like there's people, there's more modern serial killers. I think with like 30 plus body counts, sometimes 50 plus. But that's even more scary to think that happened in the 20th century. There is this weird thing with like I feel like people with the weird fascination with serial killers and like why they kill or what motivated them, how they were able to escape, get away. There's a lot of intrigue behind that.
I suppose for different people it's different things. Some people are just batshit fucking crazy and they'll be like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you now.
I don't think that's exactly how it goes, but
Well,
I may be close. I can't say for certain. But then you've got the thing is like, did people ever really think about serial killers in like even just medieval times or whatnot, or did no one really care? They just go unnoticed.
I don't think they would go unnoticed. Like death. Like
Well,
it
depends as well.
In like
though.
medieval times, is like it's overdone in most media.
But also depends. Like if someone's going around, let's say in like the medieval times, and sorry to say, blah 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 blah. But of course, during the time, women were seen as lesser. So if someone goes around killing women, do people really take notice to this? I assume they might, but for different reasons. They see the women more as property during these times. So they would more go after for a self-righteous justice over some sort of police force going over and trying to catch the person who's doing it. Like, could you imagine just a serial killer in just like ancient Rome, just roaming the streets, just going dead? Like you don't really think about these things because death feels like it would probably be more prominent, or wounds and stuff. I mean that volcano in Pompeii that racked up so many bodies. No one's going after that.
Yeah.
Oh, to see an iconic eruption. That'd be great. To see how fucking volcanoes fuck up. That'd be great for geologists to study shit.
Yeah. And of course historians. That's the whole point.
Yeah, most historians, yeah.
They get to see like something important. Like I'm sure a lot of people would go back and like maybe, especially in America, maybe go back and see the signing of the Declaration of Independence or whatever there's, because I know some American historians find that a very important moment for them and their history of their country.
Of course they would.
Honestly, I don't give a shit about going back to see anything Australian modern. I would be more interested in going back to seeing Aboriginals.
Yeah, see what they're like.
Because it's one of the oldest known cultures to the world. So that would be something very interesting.
How did they get here is probably what I want to know.
I think there's a good estimation of how they get there, because obviously sea tides were lower and they would be coming from the Asians downwards. Because no way are they going to come. I want to
see it happen.
Yeah, seeing it happen, yeah. Just walking along with them, just want to... That's nice. Nice stroll. The Iron Age.
And even if you like, you go find the guy that wrote the Bible, right? There's still many of them are still based on actual events. So if some of them exist, I want to see them.
Like, although like a lot of people nowadays are a little bit more atheist-like, and there is, I think, a lot more evidence to say that Jesus did exist. What he did is more questionable, but someone of that stature did exist. I think a lot of historians agree to that. Or even just him being nailed on the cross is even questioned, because it doesn't make a lot of sense for him to be nailed that way to the cross during that time period, because it would, one, be harder for them to get them on the cross that way, and gravity would fuck up a lot more because of the unevenness to it. It'd be simpler if it was just like an X on the ground and his feet is like maybe like his pelvis and his arms just got attached to like the wood. Because that'd be easier to just do that.
Yeah, so we'd find out what it's actually like.
Yeah. Because like the symbolism of just even just some religious things wouldn't match up to what history actually was like, possibly. Because when you see a cross nowadays, it's just, okay, it's Christianity.
Yeah.
History. How would you feel?
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, how would you feel about like going back and like actually like watching the carnage of war? Any war.
I wouldn't want to. Like, why? I don't really. There need to be something in that particular combat for me to look into.
I would try to avoid it, but part of me feels like it'd be hard to avoid. It's like trying to watch like an anime and you don't like the main character, but you're still watching it and you're trying to avoid the main character.
That's true.
Like
maybe
censorship.
censorship. Like
Censorship.
Like if you like take a kid to
boys, let's go
like,
to the first Olympics.
15 years or older, and they have like censor clouds for nudity.
Let's go to the first Olympics.
Ooh, that might be interesting.
Yeah, but they're also all naked. Do they also have
Men.
censorship? Just men. Look at that. Greece won all the... Greece won
the first ever Olympics.
Greece won the second Olympic, then the third.
They are unstoppable.
No one can defeat them. Olympics is even just such a weird thing of how that came to be. I want to question how did that really come into practice. Because it just seems so unusual for them just to like... they're just flexing... The men are just flexing to each other. What is the purpose of the Olympics to begin with?
Yeah, I wanted to see like the spark.
Yeah, it obviously grew into something different with a lot more sense of unity between countries over time. Like it's a whole diplomatic thing. But back then, there would have been like, nah. What reasoning would they have? Just a flex for flexing's sake? Why? Why'd they do the Olympics?
To impress the women.
The women weren't allowed to watch.
Well, that's why, to impress the other men, because it's Greece, they're gay. But it'd be interesting to see those, like, spark moments. Like, the first guy that ever thought, hey, we should have Olympics. This thing called Olympics. And then, like, with our knowledge now, seeing how that one guy who that one thought, which could have been anything, but he's like, hey, we should have the Olympic, become so monumental to this day.
I know a big historical point that is very popularized in pop culture would be like old Western kind of vibes, but considering that it didn't last very long, the Wild West era, I don't really think I would care too much. Plus, it's a very American thing. Of course, the idea of a cowboy is cool, but like, I feel like there would be cooler stuff out there to see if you're traveling through history.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, alright. I know you don't want to go to sea, but let's go to the Titanic.
Why not?
If I'm in the safety of my time spectating box, sure.
You consider it a box. I always thought of it more as a bubble. You can have your box. I'm in the bubble.
I'll tell you what I'm imagining. I'm imagining Willy Wonka's glass elevator.
I'm just imagining a normal bubble, but big.
A big bubble.
Mm-hmm.
The Titanic.
It would be sort of interesting to see some, not moments like that necessarily, but...
Just hanging with Vikings as you watch them travel the goddamn world and find every single continent.
And just like fucking rape and pillage everyone.
Like, imagine if we're all together. I think the funnier thing would be if we're just in one spot and, like, if we're on a moving vehicle, we follow the moving vehicle. But we just have, like, a remote and we go fast forward. So we don't actually have to sit there the whole time. We just go... time speed.
Real life time skips.
Lifetime skips. The real question is...
That'd be great. I mean, yeah, you would be able to, like... But then I also wonder, like, if you had the machine, if you could have, like, a computer that would, like, go scan, like, all of history and figure out, like, what to do.
But more importantly, a couch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good one.
Yeah.
You need a couch. Where are we gonna sit?
Oh, would you be able to watch the moon landing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not too interested. And then we finally learned out it was fake.
No, they were gonna fake it, but Stanley Kubrick, the director of the bullshit, was so interested in realism, he actually filmed it on the set of the moon.
One giant leap for mankind.
And we're just watching in our fucking glass elevator. You're doing great.
I'm in my bubble. I
Keep
told you
going.
this.
Keep going. Step on the moon. And then just leave some minutes later.
You even just go back to see, like, influential people. Not just, like, events, but people themselves. Like, going back seeing, like, Stan Lee, that kind of people, Jack Kirby. And their youth.
Watching him, like, you get to watch him write the fucking...
Yeah. Artists,
script.
musicians. Going back to see, like a proper, like, Greek tragedy play
Oh, that'd be great
performed.
to watch old plays in, like,
And this is
in their context.
I was saying, like, this has Doctor Who logic, where the thing that you're in translates everything for you. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
I'd imagine there'd be subtitles. Like, on, like, if it was, like, a glass container, which I imagine is the elevator, there'd be, like, subtitles there. Or, like, the average height of person would, like, estimate. Oh, someone would have to write someone would have to write the closed captions for that.
They would.
It'd be such an impossibly large task to, like, get every single possible event every person in the world could possibly be interested in looking at, to bookmark them.
I'm sure there's some just, like, obvious events.
Oh yeah, there's some obvious ones, but you just talked about some plays.
Yeah.
But then there's also, like, the idea of, you know, unless this thing is patented to one.
No way! They
one
fucking the school
company.
would pay for excursions to go to fucking Greece so we could watch the Women of Troy live.
Jesus.
Played by men.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, you were saying something.
You just say, "Oh, hello, we're on an excursion."
It's like, why are there so many people? Why are there so many children in strange clothing here? For
What
this?
are they?
We go see
what's
Macbeth.
that?
We could go see Macbeth.
That would actually be mad.
The first ever Macbeth.
That going to see, like, the original Shakespeare plays would actually be pretty mad.
Yeah.
That would be.
I don't really like Shakespeare all too much, but it would be mad.
It was sick.
It would just be cool, just for that experience.
See, space? No. Time travel? Yes. Especially because this time travel we're talking about leads to no risk.
I mean,
Well, it's time if time spectating, not
Yeah,
actually
we're just
going in.
yeah.
It's a partial version of time travel, I guess. You're sending something.
Now, if
You
you're
are
actually
traveling.
time traveling, I would say that is actually more risk than space travel, considering the butterfly effect.
Mm-hmm.
if the butterfly effect even exists.
Well, it depends on how the time travel mechanics works. I mean, if it's not creating an alternate universe, then yeah, the butterfly effect would be a thing. If it's just one timeline.
Yeah, let's go into something stupider. Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Alex?
Do I believe? No, I don't.
Interesting. Do you believe in any of those like stupid like cryptids that like people like Bigfoot blah blah blah, Loch Ness monster?
They definitely all come from something. There is a reason all these myths and legends possibly exist, but they're not as they describe them. Would not. There would have to be a logical explanation to it. Bigfoot is a bear that just walked on its hind legs and was obtusely tall.
Or just the guy.
Or just a guy in his fursuit.
The guy.
The world's first furry.
Just the guy.
Suppose it. I mean, cryptids I'm a bit skeptical about because humans are capable of a lot of bullshit.
But there's still specimens that even we haven't fully discovered yet.
No, true.
Of course, those specimens are a lot different. Granted, a lot of them would be in the sea, but another part of that would just be like if any of them could possibly exist, krakens, but not to like the same like kind of power level, whatever. It's just a giant squid.
I mean,
like an overgrown giant squid.
We did discover the giant squid and the colossal squid.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? There were many myths of people of pirates seeing what they thought was like a kraken tentacle, but it was actually just a whale's boner. You can look it up if you like, but they're pretty fucking big.
I don't think I'm going to look that up.
I don't think I need to explore that. I believe. I think some do, but then I think some cryptids I think is just. I don't know. You just might be talking shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like the Jersey Devil. I don't understand what more. The Mothman.
Yeah, true.
Some of them even just like so specific. Or even aliens. What about aliens? We talked about space travel. We didn't talk about aliens. Got any opinions on aliens?
No. Well, there's not really too much to say.
I like more of the idea that aliens could exist, and they might, because who the fuck knows. But I like the idea more that we are the aliens who visit them, instead of the other way around. Because who's to say that they're more advanced than us? Huh? That's what I want to know.
Logic.
What logic?
They
might not even perceive
life on this planet is if all of existence from the Big Bang to now existed on a clock, if Earth only existed in the 11th fucking hour and life existed in the last few seconds, right? There are billions, like the first few billion years, too hot, too inhabitable for any life. And we evolved from fucking specks into living creatures after only a few million years. Right? Several of them. But the point is, those millions of years are nothing compared to those several billion years. It is... And the universe keeps growing exponentially. Every single fucking second, it grows so much bigger than we can possibly comprehend. And it's been around for 13.9 billion years. So,
are you trying to say my
logically,
age?
There would need to be some planet that... Because if it's so impossibly large, then there are literally billions and billions of possible planets where life could possibly be habitable. They've been existing
to say that they're
for
more
several billion
than us?
years, right? They could exist for several billion years. We only could have habitable life 4 billion years ago, and we only got it a few million, 100 million, right?
Yeah, but who?
Logically, life could exist in any of those hundreds of billions of planets anywhere across the universe for several billion years, and could, in theory, even if only like 1% of all of those 100 billions ever could sustain life, and then only 1% of that could possibly contain life with like fucking skeletal structures, and then 1% of that would have creatures capable of self-awareness, and then 1% of that capable of evolving past that. That's still several million possible opportunities of life, right? There is almost no way life could in our universe. It's possible. Don't get me wrong. It is entirely possible. We are the first. We're the first in the universe to possibly advance to this level.
Yeah.
But it's terribly improbable with how long all of this space, all these planets with possible inhabitable creatures, possible habitable environments where life is, it's 1 in a billion opportunity, but there are so many hundreds of billions of opportunities for them to exist. Then those hundreds should still exist. How for us to be the first would be terribly improbable. Possible, but improbable. That's what I'm.
Alien?
Yeah. The existence of aliens.
I remember the activity we had like at the start of uni when they were just talking to us about a course, and one of the activities was to draw an alien. I just drew an orange in a box. And I called it Blue Banana.
No,
It's an orange in a box. It's named Blue Banana. That's my alien. That's my interpretation.
I can't remember where I saw it. I don't know who made it up. But I believe it's called something along the lines of the Great Filter Theory.
Oh, the Great Filter.
And basically, the premise is that the reason we don't see intelligent life forms just coming at us, or the reason we don't see them, is because there is this sort of filter that once a species gets to a certain level, they'll destroy themselves.
Yeah.
So eventually we'll get to the level, or perhaps we're at that level, where we're going to end up destroying ourselves.
Or ideally we've passed it and we actually passed.
Exactly.
If the great filter that exists is the capability for life, then we've passed it. If it's the capability of self-awareness, we've passed it. If it's gaining the energy of the sun, we've not passed it.
No.
And if that finds out, we're fucked.
I think we fucked up already.
Yeah, it might be now.
Just the idea of global warming and whatnot, we've kind of fucked ourselves.
Yeah.
Maybe the objective is our planet's preservation, or then looking into outside of our planet. That could be the filter. That might be why we haven't seen life, because they haven't been able to get.
But at least we can admit, like, aliens feel a lot more probable for existence than a lot of these weird things that people say exist.
Yeah.
Like Sasquatch. Like Sasquatch is a weirder one because Yetis are more probable though than a Sasquatch.
I'd be more surprised if there was not any other evidence of life anywhere in the universe.
But still, a Yeti makes more sense to be having the capacity to be survivable because it's all in the Himalayas, right? A place that not many people visit, not many people go, and for one aspect alone, camouflage would be insane. If it's just a big thing with white fur in a terrain that's just white.
Mm-hmm.
Yetis feel more probable than a giant, basically a walking monkey.
Yeah.
But I still think they're both bullshit. And then you just have there are some that are just so just contained into one part of the world, mostly America because they think they're special.
Yeah.
The myths don't really make a lot of sense, or legends.
Yeah, again, the only reason I'm sort of hesitant to believe this shit is just because humans like to bullshit and they like to exaggerate and they misremember stuff.
The devil made me do it.
So it's like oh, and then there's people who take that and then believe in this other supernatural shit, and they say, oh, it's really this, it's really that. Nah. You had me on there's an ape here, and then once you started saying it's magical, that's when you sort of lost me. When you started to say they're these beings from another reality, yeah, okay.
Likely excuse.
I remember I was watching this video of Isaac Butterfield, and he was doing this thing with these guys who believe in the Yowie, which is our Bigfoot basically. And as soon as they started talking about this supernatural shit, I'm like, okay, I've lost you there. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that you think that these guys come from another like realm or whatever, and then they magically transform their shape to whatever. What? Where? I don't know. And what, you don't think to put up trail cameras to spot these things? I don't know. And even then, but I guess even then, like even if they do take a picture, it's easy to say, you photoshopped.
Yeah.
I think that's
There are ways to tell
nowadays.
if a physical photo is not photoshopped from partial things, but even then, that would be very different.
I think and the same thing with aliens as well. If you see an alien photograph and it's like, that is not evidence, that is a Photoshop. So the only way to have proof that aliens are real is we'd have to see one for ourselves.
Yeah. And even with aliens and crap like that, a lot of the times it just feels like, unless it's in the past, for some reason, it always feels like, there's always sightings of aliens in America, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Of all places, it's like, again, they think they're special.
There have been alien sightings in other places.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, but like, not as prominent as America has done in the past.
I think you're mixing up prominence with just how loud and popular that shit would be, because that's where most of our entertainment comes from, America. So that's like there it is a problem as well. Americanization, they're the best, but it is because we pay attention to that sort of media that we see, that we constantly influenced by that American narrative, where there might be even more things in, let's say, Serbia, but we don't care about what's happening in Serbia.
We actually had a big like UFO sighting. I can't remember the school, but it was some school in the 60s. And like all the students and teachers claimed they saw a UFO at some point, and the quote unquote Men in Black came and told them to keep quiet about it. And that's quite a big story that is often circulated, I suppose, in like alien shit. Because like all the students and the teachers said, yeah, this is what we saw. Now they could all be bullshitting. That's very true, but
It's also very unlikely.
it's also it's one of those things that people tend to believe a lot. I'm sort of in the middle. Okay, that could be telling the truth, but I don't know. So I'm in the middle.
The Men in Black. That's just Cypher Pole 9.
They are the Men in Black, aren't they?
They are. Cypher Pole 0 is the Men in White.
I mean that is interesting because there's obviously one thing to think that aliens exist and another thing to think that they've been to Earth and they've been here for a while.
Yeah.
Like, so what do you think of that? Do you think they've been here, or do you think that's
Here is one argument. I saw it online, and I think it's amazing.
No.
One argument that we, and by we I mean Americans, do not know aliens, do not have evidence of aliens, because if they had it, Donald Trump would know, and he could not keep his mouth shut.
Sure.
And he hasn't said shit, so you know.
There was a big thing a while back where some US documents got leaked about in regards to investigations they had into them, and that like stirred up alien conspiracy shit. And I must admit, it was interesting.
Yeah.
About the stuff they saw, and they saw things, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
I think there's another Australian one where I think it was like a flight from Victoria to Tasmania, and the pilot was saying that he saw an unidentified flying aircraft above him, or circling him, or whatever.
There was another story they showed in Australia where this was I think in Western Australia, and basically this girl and some of her mates, I think, were in this car, and all of a sudden they saw this fucking craft above them, and it was making no noise or whatever. But then I think in some stories like that, it's like, well, how easy is it for you to just say that without, you know?
Were they
You guys
drunk?
just planned it in the car and said, yes, well.
Yeah, I read like an ask Reddit. What's the weirdest fucking event to you? And I read that. I read some of them. I'm like, fuck me, that's incredible. But also, how do I know they're not lying to my face?
Yeah.
Like there was one. The group of friends was driving home at night. Then all of a sudden, like the lights in the car went out, and then it came back up, and they were suddenly somehow on a different part of the road, and the time was 1 hour later, and they were all just in silence. Then one of them's like, "Did anyone else just see what I just fucking saw?" And they all like, "Yeah, that was a bit fucking weird. Just fucking the car must have fucked up. Must have just lost attention for a second, and now the time's a bit weird." And then they go to like some gas station, and now the time actually has passed by an hour, and they seem to have just lost an hour of their lives just in the car. It just off and on. That's an interesting story. Like fucking what happened, but also
honestly,
why would I believe it?
Honestly, other ones that are interesting.
Believe
Other ones that are interesting like that are like people who fell off the earth, like people who like turned a corner and vanished. Those stories are very interesting to hear because they feel a little bit more personal accounts, but there's also like that little thing of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, true. I mean, I think in some instances there could be explanations. You know, just because it's interesting because like often people, they think, well, I don't know what happened, so it must be mysterious. No, not necessarily. Not all the time. Sometimes it's just you just don't know what happened, and that's that. You know.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh wow, I don't know what happened, so it must be aliens. Well, hang on a minute. You know.
Is aliens really the most likely like explanation there?
Nah, ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, that's
a ghost took him.
A demon. Oh, it's like when you have the Mandela effect, right? And it's like, parallel universe. No, people are just idiots and they misremember shit. It's not necessarily a parallel universe.
Is it the like Flintstones or the Flintstones?
Flint.
It's a letter. It's a letter. And it makes sense why some people might think it's Flynn or Flint. It makes sense why you might misremember that.
Or even just how they pronounce it in the show itself. I mean, Flint is very close to another T. Flintstone.
Well, it is also literally Flint, right?
Yeah.
You know what a fucking Flint is.
Yeah, exactly.
And Flint makes a lot of sense when it comes to it being a part of the Stone Age. The name makes sense instead of Flintstones.
Yeah, but people who wouldn't know that maybe just misremember it as Flintstones.
Yeah.
And that shit with those bears. Like, what? Steen, they're similar fucking words. No shit, people would
Did Curious George have a tail?
Some monkeys have tails, some monkeys don't when they're drawn. Like
Pikachu has the back of his tail has brown on it, which is complete bullshit. Never did.
Yeah, even I got that confused sometimes. But that's just because of the design.
Yeah, the ears.
The design, you might expect the back to also have a black thing on it, but it doesn't.
Well, it does, but it's at the base.
No, yeah.
It's at the butt, the booby.
I mean at the tip. Yeah, people. I find it funny that people attribute like batshit crazy ideas to just things they don't know.
People would rather believe that alternate universes collide with people from each of them have collided into each other, and that's why their memories fading instead of they just forgot.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like fandoms can partially be like that because they're all just encompassed in their own fucking echo chamber where they just suck each other off.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's typically what a lot of fandoms are. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a part of some fandoms, but I don't associate myself with a lot of people within the fandom. Like, especially that's parts
Echo
of like
chambers, man.
echo chambers are fun. I think I got. Like,
I mean, this one right here, Ross, where is
what? You've cut out.
where we're just this group here. There's 3 of us talking this stream. That's it in its own way. An echo chamber because half the stuff we've said in the stream. Because half the stuff we've said it before, and we'll keep having these conversations for years to come. This is, and we're still sucking off the same ideas that we always talk about, and it's great. I love it here, but it is that as well.
That is true.
It doesn't help that we're in a kiln as well.
Yeah, kiln, a lot of echoes in kiln. It's very hot in here, isn't it?
It is very hot. It's feeling hot. It's feeling hot.
But then there's also, even other like groups, not even necessarily fandoms, but places like things like the Flat Earth movement. That I think that's a big echo chamber thing.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Yeah.
You know, it's not just one person, making a mistake and it's multiple people going, yes, you're right, yes, I'm right, yes.
Last year in uni,
you strengthen.
One of my assignments was to like just write a short piece about echo chambers, and from memory, I was just talking about my experience within fandoms, and because of that, like I got like a 95 on the task.
Nice.
But it was just like me talking about my experience of the echo chamber, because like experience where it's like I'm saying something to them, they're all not listening. They're all saying because they all agree with each other that what they're saying is right. There's been other instances where it's like people say the primary colors. People say red, blue, and green because it's RGB, but that's completely false. Yeah, people think RGB is the primary colors, but that's not what it is.
It's not.
No.
RGB does not mean primary colors. RGB is simply the colors that make up pixels.
Yeah.
They're dumb.
Yeah. But there could be one person saying like yellow was the third one, not green, which is correct. But like other people not believing because they're all spewing the same logic.
They only believe what they say, and they're not willing to look out for actual evidence of it, which is kind of what we're doing. But still, we're self-aware about our bullshit.
Yeah, we're self-aware. We could be wrong. We could be not. Who's to say ghosts aren't real?
In the end, this is just us three fucking
just what we think.
Young white men from Australia talking about bullshit they are not experts on.
I'm ready to admit that I am indeed an idiot.
Yay! Idiot team. Idiot buddy. Although idiots in different ways, I'll admit.
And I know very, very, very little, but I think I know. So that makes me less idiot.
No, what was it? Dionysus said? What was that fucking Greek philosopher that's like, if you know nothing, you're like smarter than everyone because you know nothing. That's
yeah.
Right? So therefore, I'm like really smart, bro. Like you have no idea. I know nothing. I'm so smart.
I know I'm smart because I know I'm smart because I know I'm dumb.
Yeah, that's my logic as well. I know I'm smart because I know I'm dumb.
If an expert comes in and says, "Hey, you're wrong," okay, cool.
I don't believe you. I'm not gonna believe that.
Wait, no. If you're here,
how's an expert supposed to know me?
Get out.
But then there's some people that just like they're just not wrong. They're just not wrong. Oh, okay, you're not wrong. You know? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess the Earth is flat. You're not wrong. You can't be wrong. You can never be wrong. I mean, if Google told you you're right.
The kiln is flat.
The kiln is flat?
Yeah.
I believe in flat kiln.
You fucking make like an anthropomorphized version of the kiln. You know what you're doing.
I mean, our mascot is a two-dimensional character.
True.
The kiln is flat.
Evidence. But to make our stance clear, we all do think the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll
Like
go.
when we go on that 2-day trip safely to Mars, when we turn back, we were expecting just flat. Like that's what's happened. There's no way around it really.
No, I was sorry, guys. I was joking. I actually believe that it looks like Minecraft. It's a cube world,
Yep.
Yes.
and when we go to Mars, that's what we'll see. We'll just see a cube,
That's just
and
the
we
truth.
are actually living on one. We've only ever lived on one face, but to go on the other face, well, that's where the lizard people are from.
Now Mark Zuckerberg came up from underneath to take over our minds with Facebook.
Yep. He thought, these simpletons. I will influence them with my Facebook.
Imagine using Facebook.
There's a reason I call it Boomer Book now.
Boomer book.
I only have an account to get a free Genos skin on Paladins, and now I've never used it.
I have an
Use it for
account for
Messenger,
uni
that's
because it's the easiest way to talk to if you're doing a group assignment.
I only ever use and that's why they've
Yeah,
been
Messenger's all I use.
shit. Because they realised that none of the new generation are using it. It's funny because the new generation used it, but then the older generation that's where the new generation are. We're gonna join it, and then as soon as the older generation joined, the newer.
But also,
generation
time did
no.
pass, so
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
people that were young when they first had it are now.
Old.
And I was just gonna say something. Oh well.
I don't know. I remember when Instagram came out. We were in primary school.
How long ago? Eh?
Yeah. Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
I mean, I only just got fucking Instagram last year, so.
No, even just saying, like, imagine a kid. Imagine a kid says to you, like, they're 6 years old. They were born in 2016. That just makes me feel old.
Bruh.
If I can remember what happened during that year, that makes me feel old. So if you're 6 years and younger, because I don't remember anything past 6 years.
ago, wasn't it?
I don't remember anything past 6
Harambe
years.
died 6 years ago.
Like,
Oh my
fuck.
god, that was when Harambe died. Fuck.
Yeah. See, it makes you feel old. This kid,
What
this
year
thing
was
is
that? What year
talking.
were we in this?
This being is talking, and they don't know about Harambe.
What was it? Fuck.
What year was it? Wow, on year 12 was
2019.
29. Was it year 9?
We were in
He was
year
year
9.
9. So were you 9 when Harambe died?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh. Were we? No, hang on. 19.
Sounds about right.
No,
Oh,
yeah.
it was
no.
2016, then Wolf 15.
Yeah, I know it's 20. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be.
Because in 2016, my brother also graduated. And he would have been in year 12, 3 years younger. We were in year 9.
Fuck, I've always
Does it not make
brought
you
this
old?
up. I've always brought this up, but it's because it deeply scarred me in fucking Pixels when the guy when he says classic. I used to play classic games, and they say Halo.
Like,
Like what? No, that's not old. It is. Like what? But it's not. You know, I see classic games as fucking Pac-Man and shit. That's the
Tetris.
old games for me. Tetris, yeah, shit like that. When they're
the,
like,
the,
no,
the
Halo.
first Mario.
You
Mario.
what?
Gallagher. What else is it?
Like
Space
Halo?
Invaders. I love Space Invaders.
Gallagher's. I fucking love Missile Command. I don't know why. Missile Command's fucking mad.
Misrepresentation of our generation. I hate it.
Oh my god.
They don't know shit
But,
about.
When they, but you know, it always pisses me off. When
What's
someone
VHS?
Says, oh, you might not know what VHS is. I fucking know what a VHS is. You dumb.
I had Jimmy
Yeah.
Neutron on the VHS.
I'm holding a VHS right now.
In
The
year
Final
12,
Frolics of Mr. Bean.
in year 12, we had a tournament in school to see who would win a VHS.
Yeah.
You think we don't know what VHS?
That being said, I don't think we have a VHS player in this house, but I do have a
I do.
VHS.
No, not one that's in use at all. It's probably like packed up in the garage somewhere.
I think I have a VHS somewhere in this house, but where it is that much.
Yeah.
I admittedly have not watched something on VHS in a while.
Yeah, same.
But as a kid,
I used to watch a lot of
all the
Mr.
time.
Bean on VHS.
Because I genuinely preferred VHS because you could rewind it.
Mm.
You couldn't do that with the DVD. DVD, you press the rewind button, it skips to the next scene. No. The
It was
VHS you
fucking
could
good,
rewind it, then you could go slow motion as well. If you paused it and then fast forward it.
I have a
Or
cousin
rewind it.
who was born during lockdown, right? So I'm 18 years older than him. This is a second cousin. My mum and his father are the same age. I'm 18 years older than him. That makes me feel old. And I've only ever seen him once. And he's gonna be 2 this year, what the hell?
Well, whilst time does fly, whilst it is something that, like, fuck, that was 6 years. It's also because of this lockdown of us just staying in our homes for most of this time.
Yeah.
It is fucked with time.
Time has been
As
fucked.
well, on top of that,
Yeah. Time is fucked. Imagine actually having a proper uni experience.
Oh, God.
imagine.
So dumb, bro. And it's funny because like a lot of this lockdown shit could have probably been sorted really quickly, but you know, people are fuckwits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However, this gives me some hope that now that the infrastructure is in place, if some other disease breaks out,
Omicron.
we'll be able to kick into gear. You know what I mean?
I doubt it, honestly.
Yeah.
I think people will still be stupid and think, oh, I'm vaccinated, I can go out, I can be wherever, doesn't matter, but still pass on the disease to people. That's what I think. And I think that's what's exactly happening right now.
Let's hope this year ain't the bubonic plague return. Let's hope.
Let's hope. Let's hope it is. Let's fucking end this shit. I've had enough.
I was actually surprised to learn the other day that it's still around.
The plague.
The Black Death. Yeah.
Yeah. Still around.
It's crazy to think that yes, this old fucking plague. No, it's still here.
That's something that people talk about in fucking history. Like, oh, this was the death of thousands. It's like, oh shit, it still exists. That should scare the shit out of you, especially when you're learning it in school. Like to learn that it still exists. Like, what the hell?
And it's still just as bad as it was back then.
Yeah.
And apparently it's even worse because
evolve.
If it depends where it gets in. If it gets into the wrong system of your body, it could literally be game over for that entire area. Because if it gets in your lungs and it becomes what's known as a pneumonic plague, and then it can spread really easily.
Pneumonia.
Through the air.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it just everyone's gonna get fucked.
Everything makes me feel old now. I'm almost 20.
We are 20.
I know, you're old.
Mean.
And both of you are 6 months older than me.
Mean. I'm gonna be 21 soon. Fuck.
But at least you can drink in Japan.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? Okay. Here's the thing, right? So, I was tempted to go to Japan or America, and then I realized the age, so I didn't go. And I'm like, I'll go when I'm 21. And then COVID hit, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not going anyway. But yeah, that's the only good part. But here, I've been able to drink for a while. So, you know, fuck you, America. Imagine not being able to drink when you're fucking 18, pussies. Same with Japan, what the fuck? Just drink all.
Yeah, but even though we can drink at 18, other countries, Europe and shit, are surprised that we have to wait till 18.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
18 at least partially makes a little bit of sense, because you don't want to be drinking while you're in school, let's be honest.
Well, ideally you want to drink it, yeah. You don't want to drink while you're in school.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Caleb's thinking that's the best time to drink.
No, sorry, no. Ideally you'd want to, but they won't allow you to.
You underestimate. Okay. I admit that I have had maybe a little bit of alcohol during an online class, a little bit.
I don't believe you.
Yeah,
No,
but
I
an
didn't.
online class.
No, I don't believe you
that's
had just a
different.
little bit.
That's different.
Okay,
Uni's
no,
different.
yeah.
I'll fully admit uni is different because every teacher I met essentially just said to me,
They might be-
let's
they
go
might be
have a
drunk too.
drink together. All of them wanted to
Yeah.
go have a drink at the pub.
Exactly.
Yeah, different story. And if you're in high school, then it's different. That's more.
Nah.
But you would still rock up, wouldn't you? You would still rock up a little bit wasted.
Oh yeah, no, I'd rock up with this. Easy.
And you just don't get caught. I just love how I have the ability to just go unnoticed.
How you do it? I have no idea.
Yeah. You work with someone who remembers you two, it doesn't remember me at all.
Fucking Caleb.
Mhm.
When Ryan started working at Macca's, right? He met Cooper, right? Because Cooper worked. Yeah. Him, right? So eventually, I don't know how they got to the conversation, but like Ryan's like, I know some Salesian kids that you might know. Do you know like Alexander? Alexander? What? Yeah. What? Oh, would you also know Caleb? Caleb. How about Ethan? Who? Cooper did not remember Ethan, but he remembered us.
I'm an
Like
enigma.
you, no surprise. But then both me, but not Ethan.
At year 9 camp, because I went to a different camp to you guys, so I was with a bunch of new people that I haven't really ever talked to ever before, and all of them asked me, when did I start high school? When did I come to Salesian?
My
Being
fucking
there
God.
from year 7.
How the fuck?
This man truly was invisible.
Yeah. I could stare at a teacher and they would not pick me to talk to anyone. It doesn't work unless the teacher actually knows me. So it would never work with like our last homeroom, our last oratory teacher, Alex, because she was with me
Yeah.
for like so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barricade actually came up and talked to you.
Yeah. Other ones though, they wouldn't notice me at all.
He doesn't. How the fuck did Cooper not remember you?
Very easy. I don't register to people. I'm just a thing. Just kind of
You're
there.
also very quiet. You don't talk too much, and very much during class you didn't talk too much.
I'm also very unnoticeable.
Depending on, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I will say dumb shit, but like, I remember in class, even like in year 12, Alex and I were giving some support or some ideas about something really stupid, and like everyone was disagreeing with us, but it didn't matter because we were on a roll, and people would still not know who the hell I was. I could be allowed as well.
Would he remember? Would he know you visually?
Maybe.
Probably.
Some people remember me more visually than anything else.
He'd probably recognize him as you know someone that was
The
there.
third one.
But he
Like,
probably
if-
won't.
if you- I could remember we'd walk down like the yard, the three of us talking about shit.
No one would have said that.
Right? No. If like Caleb, if Cooper saw Caleb, he'd like fucking like Caleb, and then Caleb would back because he do.
Mm.
Right? He'd see us three together, but he didn't know your name.
Nah. Who remembers me?
I'll tell you what. Most of there were tons of cunts there that I don't know the name of.
That'd be literally the same. I actually don't remember the names of them.
I remember the name of everyone.
It was funny because
Sad.
like it was the problem was the same thing happened with primary school, but towards the end of primary school I'd finally learned the vast majority of the people's names.
Primary
And
school
then
was
high
easier.
In high school it was like fuck.
Primary school was easier.
Now,
There
now
was
I've forgotten everyone.
because
And now I have to learn
in
again.
primary.
And then even by the end of high school I couldn't be fucked.
I don't know how it was for you, like, but in primary school, like, we only had 3 classes, and we were doing like grade 5 and grade 6s together, and there was only 3 classes.
Yeah, we had 5, 6 together.
Yeah,
I
so
think
like,
we had a few more than
so
3.
to know everyone in grade 6 is like half of 3 classes, which isn't a lot
I
of
think
people.
we had 2 5-6 classes.
Damn.
It was neat.
Yeah, well, 5-6 was very interesting.
It was, yeah.
Because I was in a 1-2 class. No. Okay, I was in just a normal grade 1 class, and then when I was in grade 2, we were in a grade 1-2 class.
Yeah.
And it was at least with that, it was because it was very similar, but 5 and 6 was very interesting because there was a greater difference between the grade 5s and the grade 6s. And I just love how you would, like, as a grade 5, you would look at a grade 6 and like, yes, they're the grown-ups. And then as a year 7, you look at them and you're like, fucking chill.
Bro, how the fuck did I go to year 6? Like, I'm wearing my fucking jumper. Like, I'm, like, old now. I know how to pay taxes. I can live by myself. I've got it handled. Go into year 7 immediately. We just tiny. I mean, not physically, but...
And then you don't really think you're too tiny. You think you're alright.
These boys tried to get me arrested.
Older.
In year 7, these boys tried to get me arrested. That's all I'm saying.
How the fuck? The year 7's just...
I got blamed in year 7 for your whole wallet incident, Alex. I got partially
You did?
blamed. Yeah, people mentioned my name.
What?
So I got questioned a bit more than other people.
Oh no, the quiet kid in the class must have stolen his wallet.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you.
I was barely there in year 7. First half of year 7, I was barely there. I was out. I tapped out.
Fuck, that was a crazy thing. That whole wallet incident. How we all got called in and we were just questioned, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. I can understand why, but like,
I didn't know what the hell was happening.
Crazy.
I had no clue what was happening. I just remember getting called up and being like, "What's this about?" I had no clue that like your wallet had been stolen because of course we didn't talk back then, so I had no clue what the hell was going on.
Caleb,
There was just this other guy in the room thinking, okay.
Yeah. Caleb, remember in year 7 how we had the lockers like up, like above each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just didn't talk nearly as much as we do now.
You
It was
two
fine,
had
interesting.
what? Why did you two have lockers on the same?
I was
But
like, I think I was locker 1, he was locker 2.
But why were you
They're
one?
Uh,
You're both on the opposite sides of the alphabet.
But it was very interesting, like how even Ethan and I we didn't really talk much at all. And
No.
the only reason we sort of did begin to talk is because for some reason we were in the same class in year 8. So
I blame
we sat
Jack.
together, and that's it.
I think it's Jack.
And then we got put in the exact same class for year 9. So I was like, okay, I guess we'll be friends now.
Yeah. That's just what happened. Yeah.
It was just because we just got put in the exact same class.
Yeah.
And then we knew
It
no one
worked.
else from that class, so it's like, oh, well.
It worked. Well, we knew Jack.
Year 9 was a fantastic.
I remember in year 9, I got moved to the front to the teacher's desk. And the whole reasoning wasn't because I was a bad kid, but because the teacher knew she was going to be away and we were going to have subs. And she knew I was organised, so the teachers could just ask me where we're at with shit.
right.
I get put to the front of the class, not for being a bad student, but for being a good one. What kind of bullshit is that? They took me away from
I
Caleb,
know.
where you had a nice windowsill, but then I ended up with like 5 desks.
5 what?
I ended up with 5 desks on my own.
Oh.
And then eventually Caleb just moved over next to me. It was
One of
great.
the classes underrated, to be honest.
Year 9, that was fun.
Year 9, the underground bit with just us and Vigesh's class was amazing.
I need you to. I went downstairs there like 6, 7 times ever,
It was great.
and no classes down there.
It was more annoying to go up, in my opinion. I'm like, you see the sun and daylight. Down there, it's just darkness.
I was born in the darkness.
And there was that like glass that separated
Yeah.
our class.
There was like
from
a,
another.
there was like another classroom in between the 2 classrooms, and there's 2 giant glass doors.
And then
We could
when
see each other.
Philippus was reading
Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe,
Yeah.
and he was getting real into it, and the other class was just looking behind, and
And-
what this absolute mad
Yeah.
lad is fucking doing.
Whilst they had our oratory teacher, so she
Yeah.
just looked and went, "Oh, it's just Philippus."
That sounds great. Why the fuck do I get to put the fucking shit?
I wasn't with you in class the only other time I was with you in class, besides year 7 when we weren't friends, was year 12.
CDM.
No, I mean for oratory.
Oh yeah, oratory.
CD,
I've been with Dean in every oratory, but in all of high school.
Yeah, I could tell because I've also only been with Dean in those 2 years as well. Most for me was Jack.
Nice.
8, 9, 10, and
I
12.
was actually in very few classes with Jack, despite him being one of the few friends I had from primary school,
I had no
which
friends.
I found humorous.
I had no friends from
The
primary
other
school.
one,
I knew some
the other
people.
one would have been Matt.
Was Matt in your primary school? Or was
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
What about Austin?
Austin, yeah, he was, Austin as well.
I don't even know if Josh made it all the way to the end of year 12. I don't remember. I don't know if he was there or not. I know he was there at the start.
Names.
Nah, fair enough. Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know.
I think he must have moved. But Muskie is the only one in would be the only one on my year level from my primary that I've ever vaguely kept in contact with. I have no idea where anyone else is.
People from primary school.
Even then, I have no reason to talk to him. I just know like trains with Jack.
There were other people from my primary school. I don't know if you remember Ryan and Seb. They were not that memorable. Yeah, they were from there, but
Fuck. Where is my book? Where is my?
they weren't. I
know who you're talking about.
To school, to be honest.
I'm gonna go get my fucking.
I do think we should stop the stream. It's been 3 hours.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, well, that's about it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alex will come back eventually. Who cares? Bye bye.